Welcome to another episode of Real Talk Live. I'm your host Krypton Cage, and I'm joined here today by my co-host the Viking. How you doing, man?
What's up? I just got my second vaccine yesterday, so I feel a little bit tired and sore. And my super soldier serum hasn't kicked in yet, so hopefully it comes pretty quickly.
No extra arms growing out of your body.
Not yet, not yet. Maybe it takes a while. Maybe it takes a few days.
Yeah. Well, I've got my first shot as well, and I had a lot of fever yesterday, but right now I'm feeling fine. Although there's still some body fatigue left. It feels like I've did some heavy workout, and my arm is paining because of that. Um, but I didn't do any workout, so just
Yeah,
feeling very tired.
I think it affects people different ways. Like
Yeah,
some people are sick, some people are sore, some people don't feel anything. Just depends. But
yeah,
yeah, now the government can track us every move we make.
yeah. And we also have a different brand of vaccine, right? So I guess different vaccines also have different side effects. Um, so
Which
there's
one did
that
you
as
get?
well. I got the Covishield one. That's one of the two that is approved by the government here, and I got it on behalf of my company. So it was cool. It was a very pleasant experience, I would say. Like, I thought there would be a big line or I had to wait a lot and stuff like that, but it was pretty easy. I just, spent like half an hour or maybe 1 hour tops going in and coming out, and then they put us in 30 minutes of observation as well. So, just to see if people don't immediately show side effects and stuff. So,
Yeah, for our one here, we have an appointment, so we go in, and ours is pretty quick. So you go in and you give your form to the nurse at the entrance, and then you directly get the vaccine straight away. You sit down, you get it, and then they move you into the next room. All we had to wait was 15 minutes, and then you're out. So basically, it's 20 minutes tops over here. You just go in and get it, and you're out straight away. So it's interesting how it's different view over there. That it was an hour, and you had to wait 30 minutes or whatever. Different.
yeah. And also, it's because of my company. I went through my company, right? So that's the reason my experience was this way. But the government issued one in different centers. I've heard that that takes way longer, and there's a lot of crowd and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
yeah, it definitely varies.
yeah. Because my town's small, so it's not like it's a huge hub for people to go and get the vaccine. So you have an appointment, you go, and you're in and out. But yeah,
Nice. So yeah, we'll just jump on to the first topic of today. Um, there was one guest joining us today, but I think he's late, so we'll just carry on with the first topic and wait for him to join. So yeah, the first topic is Superman and Lois, episode 9. Maher, go ahead.
yeah. I want to say thanks to because we got a comment from Captain RGD. They said, "Where is the Superman and Lois episode 8 review?" Because we forgot to do it last week. We had
Yeah,
we had so many topics, we forgot to do that episode. But it's not, it wasn't like it was a bombshell episode. It's not like loads of amazing things dropped. I'll just quickly talk about last week's episode. So basically,
yeah, go ahead.
Lois Lois Lane finds out that in the other Earth where Captain Luthor is, she's married to Captain Luthor on the other Earth, and they had a daughter. So like in that timeline, but she doesn't know about it. She doesn't remember. She just is in a different world. So she got to see pictures and stuff of that other Earth. But the reason it hit her so hard was in the main Earth of the Superman and Lois show, she was pregnant and she lost the baby uh, inside her, so that she never had the child. It was a girl, which is something that we didn't know about. So that's why it kind of hit that episode was really hard on her because she did actually have her child, her baby girl, in a different Earth, and in the other Earth, the exact same name that she was going to name her child on this Earth. So it's pretty weird, and for her especially. And so that's what last week's episode was really her dealing with that, and she was kind of taking her anger out on her sons just because it was such a big thing to learn. and then she was going to a counselor and stuff like that to deal with these kind of anger issues she was having. And so it was a pretty good episode last week, but it was mainly just an acting episode from Elizabeth Bullock. I think she did an amazing job. She was absolutely brilliant. But this week's episode was like, it wasn't anything amazing either until maybe the last 2 or 3 minutes. So like Morgan Edge is the big businessman in this town, and he is creating Kryptonians. He's building a Kryptonian army, basically to take over the world. And these are all people from Smallville, because originally the crash of the Kryptonian ship with Superman in it was in Smallville. So there's kryptonite all over the area and stuff like that. That's why he's drilling through like mines and stuff like that. So we have Lana Cushing, who was Lana Lime. She's kind of undercover for Lois Lane because she's working with Morgan Edge. Lois Lane's working with Clark, working with the local newspaper to figure out what's going on. So that's basically what the episode was about. Then you have Jonathan and Jordan having their kind of love interest issues too. But also in last week's episode, Superman got exposed to some Kryptonian gas, which was being made by the government in case Superman ever went rogue. So Superman was kind of affected by this gas last week, but he was able to overcome it pretty quickly. And Captain Luthor looks like he was going to kill him with a spear, kind of like that would be Superman. But he ended up not doing it because Lois Lane was able to stop him from killing Superman. But it looks like that the gas from last week's episode has affected Superman. It's taken a longer time to actually affect him. It's also affecting his son, who has his Superman powers, Jordan. So in this episode, the two of them are kind of weak and they're sick. But Superman is stronger than his son, so he's able to take it a lot more. But he goes to a bank robbery in Mexico, and these guys have shotguns and guns and bullets. But like that doesn't hurt Superman, right? But in this episode, it kind of does, and he's got bruises all over his body, and he can't really explain it. But his son Jordan, who's obviously weaker, ends up getting sick, and it looks like he has a cold. But every time he sneezes out kind of Superman's ice powers, where he's able to freeze things. That was kind of funny, but it's actually overtaking Jordan's lungs. So he has to go to the Fortress of Solitude with his son, and he has to kind of use his X-ray power, his beam, in the Kryptonian Fortress of Solitude to help his son. But by the end of the episode, long story short, we find out that Morgan Edge is just a businessman. He's actually of Kryptonian descent, and it looks like that he is from Krypton as well. And he drops a bomb kind of in this episode where he goes, brother. So I don't know if he's actually Superman's brother or he just calls them brother because they're from the same planet and they're the last of their kind. I'm not too sure. But you have Morgan Edge in a black suit. He's a Superman. He has the same powers as Superman. And the two of them look like they're about to fight. And then Morgan Edge goes, it's about time you learned what's really going on. And then the episode ends there. So basically, the episode wasn't full of amazing action sequences or plot twists or anything. It was a pretty straightforward episode, but the ending kind of got us all thinking, oh, what exactly is going on here? So I thought that was pretty cool. Learn that Morgan Edge isn't just a corporate businessman who's trying to take over the world like Lex Luthor. He actually is a Kryptonian himself, which was pretty interesting.
How is Morgan Edge Kryptonian exactly?
We don't know yet. I'm sure we'll find out in the next episode. But yeah, so he had a black suit on him as well.
So he was in the Man of Steel crash.
Well, we don't know that yet. We don't have a clue exactly. We don't know. That's a good point. Now it could be either this.
It's not a good point. I was joking about the movie.
Well, he could be because the open pod. Yeah, he could be. But they could take that Snyder idea and actually bring it into the show, which people will cause absolute uproar if they do that. But also, like, he is using Kryptonite to make a Kryptonian army. So basically, he gets people like you, Casey. He gives you Kryptonite, but it's Kryptonian consciousness that goes into your mind and overtakes you. So you don't know really what you're doing, but he's able to control you in a certain way. So it could be just a random person that has it, but they don't know what they're doing. That's what he's doing. So I don't know if he did the experiment on himself, and this is why he has Kryptonian powers. That could be the reason as well, or he could be from Krypton. But he said to Superman, brother. So he's probably from Krypton. So we'll have to see next week where that goes. But I thought it was a nice twist. I wasn't expecting it. It's like the John Henry Irons thing. I wasn't expecting him to be Steel. So yeah, I think it's very hard to spot the twists that they do in this show and to actually see, in some shows you can tell, that's what they're doing. But here you can't really tell. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Um, our guest is still not here, so we'll just continue to the next topic here.
Why are you so against the Superman and Lois?
No, I mean, no, I just don't have anything to add. That's why I didn't say
Yeah,
anything.
okay, yeah, yeah. It's okay. It sets things up. I think there's like 5 episodes left, 6 episodes left. So it's interesting to see where it's
My
gonna go.
viewing of the episode is always from Google. I've been just to prepare for this show. I go to Google and type in Superman and Lois episode 9, for example, and then there are some screenshots, right? So I take that and add it to our browser thing here. So that's my only viewing experience of this show. So
Yeah,
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 and then I hear about it from you.
yes, exactly. And I give you the episodes in a recap, so you don't have to watch
Yes. So thank you for that. I really value your review. And we can jump on to the next topic here, and that is A Quiet Place 2. Um, so this is a movie that I was really excited for, but I didn't get the chance to watch it because it's not out in theaters here. And I really, really enjoyed the first one. It was a pleasant surprise. Although with horror and thrillers, I think you guys know that there's not much you need to do to please me. If it's a horror movie by default, I'm interested. But this movie just turned out to be amazing, and rightfully so. Everybody loves it, and the second movie just came out. And Maher, you got to watch it. What do you think of it?
Yeah, do you know when you're going to get to see it in India, or when is it going to get released there?
No, we're still under lockdown, so not anytime soon.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. Yeah, so I got to go back to theaters the other day on.
And it's not even a WB movie, so it won't be on HBO Max either.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, so this is only a theatrical movie. You can't find this on PVOD or you can't find this on streaming services yet.
Yeah,
I think in 45 days it'll be on Paramount Plus,
yeah.
but it's in theaters only now. So I got to go back on Monday to cinemas, which was pretty cool. I got to go see The Conjuring 3, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, and Quiet Place 2. Looking forward to A Quiet Place 2 because the first one was so good and it was a great cinema experience because of you having to be quiet in the theater while you watch the movie. And it made you feel like you were in the movie with these characters because if you were there and you were eating popcorn or drinking your drink and you made noise, it kind of gave you anxiety that a monster would come and find you,
Yeah.
that kind of way. So it was pretty cool. And for John Krasinski to make his first movie and for it to be this was pretty good as well. It was a big success, made a lot of money, and a sequel came after. But yeah, so he's back now directing this one and he's only in the opening sequence, which KC is absolutely brilliant. Oh, it's most of it's one shot. So basically, they're in the town just when the monsters come, and they're running away from the monsters and stuff like that. And most of the town people don't know how to hide from the monsters. So obviously, people are screaming and stuff. There's one shot of him and his daughter kind of running through the town, running through different buildings and stuff. Goes on for maybe 10 minutes, and it's really really well done. And there's a lot of stitch cuts as well. So one
Krasinski?
shot, yeah, he's in the opening sequence. It's like a flashback of when the
Oh, okay.
monsters came,
Cool.
and there's a lot of stitch cuts as well. So it looks like one shot. So most of it is one shot, but it also cuts into a stitch. So good example is he's in a car and it's one shot, but when he gets out of the car, it's still one shot, but it's stitched in the middle.
Right.
Really well done. And yeah, I think for the opening sequence to work, you need a really great director to do it. And I think for me, this show that John Krasinski knows exactly what he's doing. It's pretty cool. It gets you straight into the kind of swing of things, and it's brilliant. But Killian Murphy also is new to the cast. He is outstanding as well. Plays such a subtle role because not a lot of his talking. A lot of his like facial expressions, made them move their hands. But he's brilliant. He's really really good. And we get a little bit more of a look at the monsters in this one. Did you like the monsters in the first one? Like, do you prefer if we don't see much of them? Like, do you like the
Yes.
mystery?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do
In
like the mystery a bit, and I thought the first one handled it perfectly because the whole gimmick of this franchise is you don't make a sound, right? So that immediately increases your thrill factor, right? because even the little most tiny bit of sound, they can hear you, and they're super fast. So it's really a pretty brilliant idea which he created in the first one. So I'm only assuming that it's gone way up in this movie.
Oh, the anxiety levels are even more through the roof, big time. And you get to see a little bit more of the monsters as well, but not like you don't get to see like wider here or stuff like that. There's still loads of mystery. You just get more of a look at them. And of course, in the last one, the hearing device and the high pitched sound is kind of their weakness. That's brought over to this one as well. But he does a great job of kind of expanding the world, but also leaving a lot of mystery because people are kind of a villain as well. Because it's an apocalyptic kind of world, people
Yeah.
are obviously going to turn bad and stuff like that. So that's brought into this one as well. And he does a really cool thing where there's two stories going on for the entire 90 minutes and they're kind of paralleled with each other. So I won't say which characters you follow. So you follow, say, two characters over here, you follow three characters over here. And they both have different tasks, both have different stuff going on. But the anxiety is building and building and building up to the point where each scene is at that anxiety peak level. And you're like, I just can't handle this because it's switching back and forth, not like continuously, but a little bit here, a little bit here. And you're just like, I can't take this anymore because it's so intense. And I really appreciated that. And I think John Krasinski did an amazing job. I think the first one's really good and I love it, but I think this one's a little bit more better because he gets to concentrate more on directing. First one he was in most of the scenes and stuff like that. It's a really good film, Casey. It's about an hour and 35 minutes, and it doesn't feel short and it doesn't feel too long. It just feels right. And I think people are going to enjoy this one. It's doing pretty well at the box office as well. It's a really good film. It's a lot better than I was expecting. It's really really good.
Wow, now I'm even more hyped because like I said, I was really excited, and I didn't think that my hype would actually increase because it's already on top. And now I just want to see it. But unfortunately, it's not releasing in theaters here, and there's no other way to watch it. You know, hopefully one of the streaming services here picks it up, soon or something. But I doubt it. You know, it obviously is going
Yeah,
through Paramount Plus and stuff like that.
yeah. It's only going to be in theaters and on Paramount Plus. It's not going to because this was the whole point of delaying this movie, so it could come out into theaters.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a different experience in the theaters with this movie because some theaters are very quiet when watching this. Some theaters, people make noises, they're on their phone talking, there's babies crying and all that shit. So it could also ruin your experience if you want to watch this movie. So
Yeah,
it's
the,
weird. You have to pick your
it's
theater carefully.
theater I was in was pretty quiet and was like nobody was making noise. But when I got to see The Conjuring, people came in late and people were making noise. So I probably would have been a little bit more annoyed if that happened in a quiet place because
Yeah,
of the way the film is. In The Conjuring, the screen is already loud enough; you can kind of drown out the sounds of other people.
yeah. Well, I cannot wait to see it. And if you guys watched it, let us know what you thought of it. Did you like it? And did you hate it? Let us know. We accept all opinions. And also, I wanted to ask, is this so after this movie ended, is there promise and hype of, the third part or a spin-off or something like that?
Yeah, there is, but in a way there is, but I don't want to spoil anything. We already know there's a spin-off coming with a new director and completely different characters and stuff like
Yes.
that. And this will get a third one as well. But yeah, there's you can expand it. You can bring more humans into it as well. There's one part in the movie. I don't want to spoil it. I'd love to talk to you about it when you do see the movie. I just don't understand why they don't go on living that way in the future.
Hmm.
There's a way to get around the monsters, but maybe I don't know. I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, we'll definitely get a third, and there's already a spin-off happening. So yeah, more of this world is coming.
Nice. Krasinski hasn't, he hasn't signed on for a third movie yet. He hasn't said that he's directing or writing it. So
Yeah,
so far there's nothing from him. Maybe he'll be doing another project in between, doing this and the third one. So we'll have to look out for
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. The I should say as well the two kids in it, Noah Jupe and the young girl who's deaf in real life and is deaf in the movies. She's brilliant as well. I just have to say they did a fantastic job. But yeah, Krasinski, he's not signed on for anything. But that's what happened for the second one. You know, he
He'll
said
be
he would,
doing another project with me. Yeah.
he said he wouldn't direct the second one. But he when he was writing it, he just couldn't stop his urge. You know, I'm going to direct this.
Yeah. Well, you know, Ascended, you there? Okay, I think he is fixing it. So okay, so I have another question about this movie. Um, do you think John Krasinski will, come to Marvel or anything after, doing movies like this as a director
I
or
don't want.
actor?
Oh, I don't want him to be Mr. Fantastic. Like, I think I want to see him direct more movies. Now, if you said to me, I want John Krasinski going to be directing and starring in a Fantastic Four movie or a different movie, I would say yeah, because I really dig his directing style. But if it was just to be starring in a Fantastic Four movie, for example, I just think it's a wasted time period where he could be directing something pretty cool. Now, if he was to come in and direct a different Marvel movie and star in it, then I'd be all for it. But if it's just a star, I think we're going to miss out on a lot.
Right. And also, Emily Blunt doesn't seem to be too fascinated about the Marvel Cinematic Universe either. Um,
Yeah,
but
it could be they could be trolling, but I don't. I think they're being honest.
yeah. I mean,
You know?
look, they're both a couple, right? And they probably have different projects in mind that they want to do together. And also, I don't think they would join Marvel unless there's a um super high profile project. Like Eternals with Chloe Zhao, right? So she found that project to be super, interesting, and of course it's the MCU, so maybe she also joined because of that. But there's some really interesting things in that movie, I guess, and the script probably is pretty good. So that's the reason why she joined. So there's also a chance for, a script to be good, and then um something that can lure them in as well. Would you like to see them, in a directing space and acting space for Emily Blunt and John Krasinski? If yes, which character would that be?
Yeah, like yeah, well, like a quiet place, like that's not going to be a really long shoot, you know. Like how long would that be to film that movie? If it was a Marvel movie, you're talking about months on production, you know, away from their family. So, but yeah, I get the idea of them being Mister Fantastic and stuff like that. But I think they're going to go with a younger cast for that. I think they should. You know, I think they should if they want to have a trilogy of Fantastic Four or for the Fantastic Four to be in the Avengers. I think they should go with a younger cast, kind of half unknown, maybe half known kind of
Uh-huh.
actors. I don't know which I don't know which character they could be if it wasn't going to be Fantastic Four in the MCU. I'm sure there's a million roles they could do. I think John Krasinski would do amazing in the role that Owen Wilson has right now as Mobius. I think he'd do an amazing as Captain America back in the day. He's a good actor, so he could do anything. The same with Emily Blunt. So I can't really say which character is perfect for them. I think they're perfect for most characters because they're good actors.
Yeah. Well, we have our guest finally arrived, and he can finally join. So let's welcome Ascended Ancient.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
I'm good, man. Sorry I'm late. As you know, I've
Yeah.
been busy, so
Well, you came at the right time actually because you've seen the movie, A Quiet Place too. So what do you think of it?
yeah, so I watched it today, literally what, like 5, 6 hours ago. Um I was really happy with it. I really enjoyed it. I think I don't know. I don't think I've even processed it yet. But
Don't give away any spoilers.
overall, I enjoyed myself a lot.
Don't give away any
Pardon?
spoilers.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I think if you're waiting to go to the cinemas, this is the time. Personally, overall the film is great because you know it picks up essentially where the previous film left off, and I don't know what to say, man. It's just such a great film. It's a great way to come back, and I'll tell you this, I'm glad that they kept this on the back burner, waiting for the cinemas, because this is genuinely a film that is, that should be watched in the theaters. Um, Even though, because while I was watching the movie, I realized like this is not a movie with sound that you need to experience. It's the atmosphere in the theater that you experience, and that's the part of the movie that's the
Yeah.
best part about it. So I would 100% say definitely go ahead and watch this whenever you get the time, because it's 100% worth that experience of silence that is thrilling.
Awesome. Yeah, I cannot wait to watch it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. You were talking about more films coming down the line for this.
Yes.
If it'll be continued. I think Sean said that there's another one with another director, right? Now I don't think we know if that's being continued on, but I don't think they would. Personally, I think the cast here is great. I don't see them sidelining the cast. Emily Blunt is great. Cillian Murphy is great. The kids, I don't know their names, but they were pretty great as well. I think what they do have potential for is to expand this universe that they've made. For example, with how they essentially found a way to fight them off, right? With the I don't know. It was in the first one.
No.
Should I say it?
Oh, the high
No.
pitch thing.
Okay. Well, in the movie, something happens. And that's game changing, I'd say. But I think that opens up the world to more stories, because not everyone can do that thing.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think this is a great movie. I think everyone should go and watch it, because this, you know what? Ironically, I was watching this and I found myself very excited for this up and coming Last of Us series.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wow, this is just in the same tone of that, and yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready.
The thing about John Krasinski as well, I'm talking about him going over to Marvel. Like, he signed a deal with Paramount, so he's a Paramount guy. He's getting paid well by them, first look deal, and so I don't see him jumping over to Marvel anytime soon. I think he's going to continue to direct movies for Paramount. Maybe we could see him. Maybe down the line, but I don't think right now. I think he's very much a very good director that needs to direct movies, not star in superhero movies. But if he's starring in a superhero movie, I want him to direct it as well.
Let me ask you a question then. Would you like to see him? Okay, I would personally like to see him and Emily as Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic, right? I personally think that would be great. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I
No.
think it would be cool, but I'm not sure if if they would be under a good director, because I think yes.
In the MCU, there are no good directors. Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but
The Fantastic Four movie, I think, is being made by John Watts, right? Or is it Peyton Reed?
yes,
John Watts. So
John
yeah,
Watts.
definitely not.
What?
I wouldn't. No. What do you think, Maher?
Yeah, I just think he's gonna. No, I've already talked about it. I think he's a Paramount guy. I don't think he's gonna do any fantastic. It's fantastic, Mr. Fantastic. I don't think they're going to be cast in that role anyway. I think it's going to be a cast in their 20s again. So I don't see it happen. I think maybe there's talk of maybe because Emily Blunt was originally cast for Black Widow, and Grace Randolph said that Kevin Feige was thinking of having the original cast in mind for that pop up in Doctor Strange 2. You'd have Tom Cruise as Iron Man, Emily Blunt as Black Widow. You'd have Joaquin Phoenix as Doctor Strange. That's what Grace said that Kevin Feige was trying to do, which would be pretty cool to see. So, but like I could see Emily Blunt coming and doing that because that's going to be a one off. It's not going to be 10 movies. I could see something like that happening
Yeah.
maybe for her.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And John Krasinski he auditioned for
Oh,
Captain America, so I think that
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's how that
that
could
would
happen.
be cool.
Yeah.
I would definitely be down with
Mm.
that, but I don't think Joaquin Phoenix would do Doctor Strange. That character doesn't seem
No.
like would interest him. You know,
Well, he was like all the trades reported that he was doing Doctor Strange a
yeah,
few years ago, and then he dropped out. Because he must have been in good talks with them, but then it's like the Edward Norton thing. They don't want to sign like
yeah.
a 5 picture deal where they have to appear in every movie. I think what helped Joaquin Phoenix with the Joker was that it was a one off, but it's after making $1 billion and he won Oscars, so maybe he might come back for more. But I think the Joker is very much of a more deeper, complex character than Doctor Strange. I just personally think so. I think it's more challenging for an actor. But
Yeah,
like
that's
Joaquin
that's
Phoenix.
totally cool, and especially the Joker that Todd Phillips was making, not just any Joker. Maybe that interested him more than any other Joker would. And I was gonna say something about that, but then I literally don't.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Not
I don't
important.
see him, doing. I don't see him doing Doctor Strange at all.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I don't think so. But like not long term. Maybe like I don't like. I don't even. Do you imagine Joaquin Phoenix showing up as a cameo in
Yeah,
a Doctor Strange costume? I could just see his facial expression being,
yeah,
"What the fuck am I doing here?" You know. Well, yeah, probably not him, but yeah, let's see how it goes. But
oh yeah.
that's our review
So
of A Quiet
yeah,
Place. We're talking about
yeah,
Doctor Strange.
yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
So we'll jump on to the next topic here, which is similar to this movie, but not really, which is The Conjuring 3. Now, I've
Yeah,
seen this movie, I think, yesterday, and I'm a big fan of the Conjuring universe, and I've loved almost all of the movies, except The Nun. The Nun was not good. But yeah, I've seen this movie yesterday, and it was, I would, yeah,
different.
I mean, it was good. But I don't think it's better than one and two. I also think that look, you can feel that James Wan wasn't directing, and although there are some really cool characters in this one as well, I mean new characters in this universe, and some really good makeup and CGI, to make it scary. There are some really good scenes. There are a lot of The Exorcist, homages, even visually and as well as thematically, and some scenes like straight up are full on The Exorcist. But the thing I thought was missing with this movie was that you don't feel like okay, there are two things, right? First thing, I think the most important one, you don't feel the atmosphere that you felt from the first two movies. um there's no single house, thing here. There's multiple locations, so the atmosphere keeps changing. Um, it's kind of a different thing from the previous two movies. I don't know how exactly to describe it, but it just lacked that atmospheric feeling that you got from watching the first two movies, which was absent from this one. If this one felt more modern, I guess, and a bit different from the other two movies. And also,
Yeah, but he wasn't trying to copy what James
yeah,
Wan did either.
and also, of course, why would he? He's a different director, and he probably got brought his own style. Also, this director directed the Curse of La Llorona movie, so that I liked that pretty. That was pretty
Yeah.
good, and he directed this one, so he definitely makes different kinds of movies from what's already existing. So did David Sandberg, to be honest. But then the second thing that I thought was missing was the overall connection to the universe. There's very subtle nods to the other characters or stuff that happens in the universe. So that's also I think was lacking. Um, there's basically no cameos from other characters. And one thing that I found funny was the 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 Warrens go to a person. I think it was a medical person or something, and then he was no the police person, and then he wasn't believing them, right? No, actually, they go to a lawyer. Yeah, I remember they go to a lawyer, and of course the lawyer wouldn't believe them, and they were trying to propose that the devil may do a thing, right? So they wanted to prove in a court of law that exorcism exists, but obviously the lawyer wasn't buying it. So there was this line Ed says that well, we'll show you our room, and we'll let you meet with Annabelle. And then I was like, yeah. After that you'll definitely believe. And I was like, that was a cool thing to put in there. But apart from very vague stuff like that, there's really no um there's not even enough here to set up other stuff. Like it was totally like a solo movie. And I think that was lacking, but overall I did like it. It was good. The focus was the in the last movie the focus was mainly on Ed. In this one it's on Lorraine, and I think she is brilliant as usual. She carries the movie, and her performance in being scared of something that isn't there is her face is just is amazing to watch. And her performance is awesome. So I did like the movie, and in the end, something happens that just delighted me, and I don't want to spoil it. It's something very minor, but I enjoy that. So yeah, that's what I thought about the movie. You saw the movie. What did you think?
Yes, this is directed by Michael Chavez, who did The Curse of La Lorena, the other Conjuring movie. That did pretty well. I don't think it's the most well received of the Conjuring films, universe films either. But yeah, he was coming in and he was taking over for James Wan, who knocked it out of the park for one and two. Now, I just recently watched The Conjuring one and two for the first time because, as I told you, I'm not big into like horror movies. So this wouldn't be movies that I would go to cinema to see. There's a must see movie, you know. I went to go see this because cinemas were back open and stuff like that. But yeah, you like you're missing the directing style of James Wan, especially the one shot stuff in the house, because he's a master at that. And it reminded me like of M Night Shyamalan when in The Servant. A lot of directing style there from the directors in that series, you know. But this is based on a true story, which actually happened. I know you could say about Conjuring one and two are based on true stories as well, but like you have to believe in ghosts or in demons to believe those
Yeah.
movies, you know, because they're in a haunted house. But this one was actually about a real murder trial that happened in 1981 in Connecticut. Where's it called? Connecticut, I think. Yeah, sorry. So Arnie Johnson killed somebody, and they ask him, "Why did you do it?" And he goes, "The
Yeah.
devil made me do it." And that this is actually a trial that happened, and it was called "The Devil Made Me Do It" trial, where their defense of this Arnie Johnson was that he was possessed by a demon. And so the Warrens have to go and gather enough evidence to present to a courtroom to convince them that he was under the possession of a devil, of a demon, so he wouldn't get much jail time. You know? So this has actually happened. And I will say I was disappointed. We don't get to see much of the trial or how they convinced the jury and the judge that
That's
this
true.
guy, even though he murdered someone, uh, doesn't I'm not going to say if he gets jail time or not, but how did they present it to him, to the judge and jury? This guy doesn't deserve it. They never showed that, which I was disappointed in. You could make an entire movie just based on that. You could make a mini series just based on that. And I think
Yeah.
it'd be very interesting. But it focused more on the demons and why this guy was possessed and stuff like that. And I thought it was an interesting story because the other two aren't really stories; they're more of paranormal activity, kind of, oh my god, like there's scares and stuff like that. Which the first two are really scary. I'm not big into that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
they are pretty weird. And I think James Wan did an amazing job. But I like this director. He didn't decide to copy James Wan. He decided to do his own thing. Okay, I'm going to bring the Warrens on the road where they have to go to different places and uh, discover kind of signs of where this demon originated from and how it became taking people over. So I like that. I think some of the music was pretty good as well. Some 80s music, 80s music, pretty good. And the chemistry between Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson is insane, But it has use universe because remember in the first one there was Annabelle spin-off movie.
Yeah.
There's like 3 Annabelle movies, or 2 or 3, and in number 2 the Nun. Then there was a Nun movie. In this one, there's nobody to make a spin-off movie about.
The second movie actually had a lot of characters. Like there was that tall walking thing, and then there were a couple of characters that we still don't have any news on.
Yeah, but this one didn't have any of that. Now maybe it was because this is more of a grounded true story. This is actually a case where you can go and you can.
All of them are based on true story, Maher.
I know, but like,
don't break my reality.
Believe in this stuff. But you either believe in this stuff or you don't. But you can't not believe in the murder trial because that actually happened. There's actually evidence of that happening. That's what I'm going to say. Maybe that's fine. But there was some nice little Easter eggs towards the Exorcist film. Especially, I think you have it up on the screen a second ago where the priest steps out of the cab and he's looking at the house. That's Exorcist. There's also a reference to The Shining, which I won't spoil, which happened in the third act. I don't know if you caught. Pretty cool. I love that. And look, it's not the best of the trilogy, but it's not like a terrible film. It's a fine film. The performances are insane. Some of the scary monsters in it are weird. Especially, I'll just say one thing: a dead body. That was weird.
I thought the thing with the kid was very well done. His makeup was very well done, and the way it was twisting his body and stuff, that was also very well done.
Yeah, the opening scene is actually pretty hectic.
Yes.
It's kind of
it was very intense.
It's like James Wan. Like James Wan did that, and that was kind of passing off to Michael Chavez. Like that was Michael Chavez's kind of thank you to James Wan. Now I'm going to go and do my own thing. So it doesn't feel like it's expanding the universe, but it doesn't feel like it's the end of it either. It's like we could get more, which we will because these movies are insanely profitable.
Yeah, it's a cinematic universe at this point.
Patrick Wilson. Yeah, all it is, and the chemistry between Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson as the Warrens. You can do more movies, and I think they will, and I hope they do because they're perfect. They're perfect.
These two are characters that I don't want them to ever kill off. Like maybe in the 10th movie or something, but every movie they carry.
In real life, in real life, I think. They're not alive anymore. But Vera Farmiga, she only died. She only died a few years ago. I think her husband died in 2006 or something like that. So they did survive all this stuff, but maybe they had some implications on them when they got older because I think she had dementia and stuff like that. So maybe they could play up a storyline of that, but it'll be respectful. But it's it was a fine film.
NWB has had good relations with them, and they own all the tapes and recordings, so they can definitely go on for another 10 movies probably. Ascended, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So have you seen this?
I haven't seen it. But fun fact, I'll give you this fun fact. The second movie, which is about the Enfield haunting, right? I used to live in that area.
Right. That happens in England.
Yeah, that was literally
dude, that was
5-minute walk from me.
Second movie was so good.
Yeah, it's literally a 5-minute walk from me.
Wow.
Okay, 5-minute drive.
They should have did a full movie just about that.
About me living next to it? I agree.
No, about that house.
Well, I haven't seen the movie, but I thought that's what it was about.
Second one.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not in the entirety of it. It's only in a small part of it, isn't it, Casey?
Well, The second one is the one with the sofa, old man, and all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So most of it is in that house.
I thought there was like the Amityville horror like house. I thought that was only looked at closely, and then the other house was somewhere different. Maybe I just took it up wrong. I could have just took it up wrong.
It's been too long. I don't really remember.
Yeah, yeah. But this one, Ascendant is this Conjuring 3 one. Did the trailers intrigue you at all, or did you watch them?
I haven't seen it. I'll be honest with you, horror is not an interesting thing for me.
Yeah,
But I'll tell you this.
yeah.
I'll tell you this. I do have the only interest I have about this movie is because of Vera. I really love Vera. I
Yeah.
watched her in Bates Motel, and which I never finished, but she was great in that. And Patrick Wilson is Patrick Wilson. How could you say no to that?
Yeah.
So I do want to watch it eventually, but there's just so much stuff to watch these days. So
Yeah, and we'll see Vera Farmiga. She'll be in the Hawkeye show. I'm looking forward to.
oh, damn, I did not know. So yeah.
Yeah, even for me, this
I'm
franchise, I was like, Ed and Lorraine both are the heart of this franchise. If they are not in this universe, the movies would just be average, and I probably wouldn't be as interested. But they definitely are the heart and soul of the movies, and they definitely make this universe what it is.
Yeah, and it's not like done in a sobby kind of romantic way. You actually feel
Yes,
like these two actors are together in real
their
life.
chemistry
It's
is awesome. Definitely awesome.
insane. And like, and maybe this film is a lot better, but I'm just not giving it its justice because like these films need to do something insane to impress
Yeah,
me because I don't get horror isn't my thing, you know, that
yeah,
kind of way.
me
It has
too.
to do something. Oh my god, that's insane for me to really love it. So the film is it's not bad, and it's just I just think it's yeah that was okay because I'm not really into that.
Yeah,
Who did you say died from the film?
I didn't say.
No, no. Sean said someone died,
Oh,
or was it characters
No,
in the
no,
movie?
no, no.
You say
Lorraine
that died.
Warren died in real
oh,
life.
in real life.
Okay, and she's in the movie. And who's she in the movie?
She's Vera Farmiga.
Wait, oh, is she like playing?
Yes, she's playing Lorraine, who is an actual person in real life, and she died.
Okay, okay,
These people were real. They were demonologists. They're like they're the main paranormal people in history who've investigated all this stuff. They've solved cases and they've done exorcists on people. This is all real stuff that happened.
Yeah, and they've all the
okay,
recordings from those times, and they
Yeah,
play all those things. The movies are based on those, and obviously they have to dramatize those things, right? But then at the end of the
yeah,
movie, when the
like every
credits
movie.
are rolling, they actually play the real recordings. So
Yeah,
that's the part where you go, oh, this line was in the movie, and they change it a little bit and all that.
yeah.
That's the very fun part.
Because Ascended, I don't know if you missed it or not, but this is the main plot for this movie is based on a real life murder that happened in 1981 in Connecticut. Connecticut, I always get what's it called, Connecticut. And the trial that they presented was he was possessed by a demon. This is actually something that actually happened. So you can go
okay,
Google it or YouTube it. It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
okay. That's nice. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know any of that, and that sounds pretty freaking interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one more question.
Mhm.
Do you guys believe in stuff like this?
I do believe
Full
something
answer:
exists.
yes,
What do you say,
yes.
Son?
I believe, man. If there's aliens, there's definitely ghosts and demons.
Nice.
Okay.
Me too.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you guys are delusional, but whatever. That's you guys. It's your right.
Listen,
you know?
man. Watch the credits for both the movies and then tell me. But
Yeah, it's
this
weird.
the voice changing thing and the demonic voice and all that shit, that can definitely be termed as mental illness or multiple personality disorder or stuff like that, right? So
Mhm.
I don't think those are valid um points or evidence to claim that this is real, but I do think that when people feel presence and stuff moves from place to place, and
Yeah.
those types of things are definitely irrefutable. So that stuff happens, and it has happened to some of my friends and family. So I cannot just live in denial. But I'm not dying on that hill either, because something like that hasn't directly happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's always the case. It's a case of people. It's happened to people, but
Yes.
not to me. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
What's
all I'll say is
the
that I do have an interest to watch this movie now more so than before.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Like
nice?
I want to pitch something to you for this universe. So, you haven't seen any of these movies?
None of them.
Okay, cool. Start with Conjuring 1. So the whole premise is these two are real life people, right? And they actually have so many cases and they have recordings.
Hmm.
So WB already bought all of them and they're now making movies over them, right? So
Hmm.
they obviously go case by case per movie, and then
Yep.
from the old times, obviously from 19 whatever, and then you have these two investigating all that and solving it basically, and then removing the demons from the possessed bodies and whatever. So it's pretty good in that term, but that's not the main appeal of the movies. It's how James Wan creates these characters around the real events, and some of them are definitely based on what people have said in the past they've witnessed, which obviously could be lies and stuff. But it's just a cool fictional, universe which James Wan has built, basically using demonic characters, which will appear in different
Hmm.
kinds of spin-offs and stuff. So that's pretty good. But again, the whole appeal to me from these movies is the chemistry between Ed and Lorraine, and their bond is really good, and you know, it's a pretty good thing to watch. So I would definitely recommend.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out sometime as well.
Awesome. So now, with that out of the way, we can jump on to the next topic here, which is what we are all here for. Have you watched
Justice
Ascended? Have you watched Loki?
League.
Please tell me.
Okay. As you know, I've been busy and I'm literally 35 minutes in. Um,
Wow.
yes.
Wow.
So I haven't
Yeah, but
really.
yeah. So look, Ascendant, you're a big letdown to the show. This will be the last
He's
time that
out.
you will be invited on. But,
Dad, Dad, is that you? Just kidding.
but Loki is it's weird because it feels like a Friday because it was dropped on a Wednesday. This is the new thing with Disney
Yeah.
Plus. They're dropping these on
Yeah.
Wednesdays now, which like if you work and stuff, I'm sure it's kind of an inconvenience. But if you're off and stuff, like you're doing not much stuff, sure it's fine. But yeah, look, it's going to be dropping every Wednesday on Disney Plus. I think it drops at 8 a.m. here in Ireland, UK. It's like 3 a.m. in America, and then 12 a.m. on the other side of the country. So yeah, it's wherever you are. But like this episode was like pretty interesting. It felt like a movie. It was shot like a movie, I
Yeah.
thought. Did you feel like that, Casey?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I I think this was by far the strongest pilot they have ever done. WandaVision, Falcon and the Soldier, it was way better than those two, I think. I was not that much interested in Loki's show, because although the premise sounds interesting and it deals with time and all that, of course I don't know any of the comic stuff, but I think that I was not interested in this, first of all, because I think Loki is just a great character to be in someone else's movies and be, in the background and be the villain or Thor's brother and stuff like that, right? But not, I wasn't interested in a solo Loki thing. Like I'm not interested in solo Hawkeye or Black Widow or stuff like that. But um, this first episode really really impressed me, because it felt so much like a different sci-fi thing that is not connected to the MCU, but then they also did a brilliant job in connecting it. and I thought that his dynamic between Owen Wilson was really great. I thought the whole time variance authority thing was, I, well, it might not be true, but what they have explained so far in that animated thing, I thought was pretty good, and it it hints at different things that's going to happen in the future in the MCU. So I'm excited for that. But again,
Yeah,
the scenes with Owen Wilson and Loki were just brilliant because it's like, look, we are Zack Snyder fans, right? So Zack has this thing of going into the why of everything, and we want to explore why certain characters do those things, right? What makes them tick. That's the most fun thing to explore in characters, at least according to me. But um, that's what I loved about those interactions because Loki was basically sitting there like a god, and he was like, "I'm better than all of you," and all of that, right? So this Owen Wilson character, he's just sitting there and asking basic questions. So, do you like killing everyone? Do you like hurting people? Then he was asking the main question, like, why do you do what you do? And Loki had no answer for that, and he just said that freedom is like, it's the lie, and I want to make lives better for them and all that shit. Then he showed all the footage,
yeah.
so stuff like that
We
was like,
probably
yeah, go ahead.
we probably should say why he's with the time variant authority, like because so like he's altering the timeline, so he's being
Yeah,
prosecuted for this. This isn't allowed, apparently.
yeah.
But I want to get to it in a sec. Why this is big plot hole kind of in a way,
Well,
but it could be because the time variant authority might not be what they say they are.
mm-hmm.
But of course, this is Loki from 2012 from the Avengers. In Endgame, the Tesseract lands at his feet, picks it up, and he leaves because the Avengers were going through time. They needed to get the Infinity Stones, the Tesseract, stuff like that. And then Hulk runs to the door, smashes Tony Stark,
Yeah,
and he falls. But Loki gets the Tesseract and he goes somewhere. And in Endgame, we were like, where is he going? Because in Infinity War, he was killed by Thanos. We're like, oh, he's dead. Oh, no, he's not dead. It's kind of a retcon to get out of his death, which I was kind of a little bit against, but now I'm all for it because of what the show is doing. So he goes to this planet, wherever he is, but the Time Variant Authority, they come and they get him and they bring him to their headquarters because he's going to be prosecuted and trialed for messing up the timeline. And the video you were talking about, the animated video, it shows that there's one continuous timeline. And if somebody jumps outside of that timeline, they're basically breaking the law. And the time variant authority step in, they put another version of that person back into the timeline. And I'm guessing they kill the person who jumped out of the timeline originally, or they put them in prison or they do something like that. They're just telling us that there's one continuous timeline, which is a little bit false because of what we've seen from WandaVision and what we've seen from Endgame and what we know is going to happen in Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange, the multiverse of madness. And they talked about the multiverse wars
well,
and how these three kind of gods came in and fixed everything and restored the timeline and they oversee everything. And if anybody breaks it, they step in and they stop you.
yeah, well, they didn't. I don't think they said that there's only one single timeline. I think they said that there should be one single timeline, which is the sacred timeline, right?
Yeah.
So there can be different timelines, but that shouldn't happen. So I think their approach is pretty good to, multiverse can cause a lot of problems and plot holes, right? So from a movie perspective, having multiverse in causes more problems than resolving it. So suppose Iron Man dies, right, in Endgame. Why can't you just bring another Iron Man from another universe? Why can't you reverse time? Why can't you do stuff like
Dude,
that,
see,
right?
See,
So I like,
this is the problem. This is the problem I have with Endgame because they brought back
yeah.
Gamora, but they didn't bring in. They didn't bring back Black Widow. They didn't
And
bring
that
back
Gamora
Rose. They
is
didn't.
not our
You have to
Gamora.
make that
That is
sense.
also another thing.
No, she's from
Yeah.
20, even before the first
Yeah.
Avengers, I think. So it's
So Endgame does
it can
have,
be
you're
confusing, but
right, Endgame does have a lot of plot holes with the time thing, but I think that having different variants, having different timelines is part of the MCU time travel thing, but they want to fix that. So they're saying that timelines exist, different timelines exist, right? They already said in the beginning of that animated video that multiple time the before there were before there was a single sacred timeline, before the three timekeepers were brought in. Before that, there were multiple timelines. There was a multiverse. There was multiverse wars. There was different types of timelines where different TVAs fought each other in the war, and they all wanted to keep their own timelines. So all that stuff happened in the multiverse before. So they're saying that in order to prevent that, they need one sacred timeline, right? And they're basically saying that multiverse is a bad thing. So if multiverse
Yeah.
exists,
But
then that's a bad thing.
Loki questions it as well. He's like, the Avengers did
Exactly.
it. Why isn't anything happening to them?
Of
And then
course,
the
that was
woman
a
goes,
cop out.
well, that was
Yeah,
meant to happen. What? Yeah. And she goes, well,
that
that was
was a
meant to
cop
happen.
out.
But then
Total
what
cop
you
out.
did, Loki, that wasn't meant to happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is there different rules for different people? In a way. But yeah, so there's different. Like there is loads of plot holes with this, but they did set up more plot holes in this episode than what they were doing. But maybe,
I
maybe we'll have
I
paid
do
off.
think that they
Maybe they will
fixed a lot of
clear it
plot
off.
holes in
But
this one though. By saying that it shouldn't exist, it means that it does exist, but it shouldn't exist, right? So the things that Endgame did, they know that it kind of fucked up and they want to fix that. So what's the next movie after this? We're getting Multiverse of Madness. They even say in the animated video in a very tricky way that, oh, this will cause the multiversal war, which will result in madness. And I was like, yeah, yeah, sure. you know,
the writer of this show is the writer
yes.
on Doctor Strange and
I
Multiverse of
loved
Madness.
the
So,
writing in the
like,
show. Like, really
yeah,
enjoyed the conversations that Owen Wilson
Me too.
and Loki were having, especially because he was getting into the why of Loki, and it was getting so
Yes.
intense. Like he was basically deducing that Loki's entire existence, like from the day he was born, from the whole Frost Giants world, he was kidnapped, he was brought in, he was raised with his family, he was raised with Odinson family, and then he was exiled and then brought back. He did all of that, and his entire life is just to make the Avengers better. Just imagine all that dropped on him at that moment. It was amazing. His performance was amazing.
yeah, and he even got to see things that never
Yeah.
happened to him, will never happen to him, because if he goes back into the timeline that he was originally taken from, he has seen his
Yes.
own death by Thanos. He has seen he's the reason that his mother dies. That's why he doesn't want to go back
And he
into it now,
can't go
and that's
back.
why he's decided to help Wilson. Yeah, but even if he tried to
Yeah.
force himself to go back, this would cause a big
Yeah, they won't let him
social.
go back because he would probably be another Nexus
Yeah,
event.
yeah, and that's why he's now helping Owen Wilson. And I think Owen Wilson manipulated him a
Yes.
good bit because he only showed him the bad stuff he did. He only showed him he was the reason his mother died. He showed him that he killed Agent Coulson, but
Dude,
never
I was
said
so
that
happy
Agent
to see
Coulson came
Agent
back to life.
Coulson.
And then even when he sees his own death and Thor's kind of crying over his body, he doesn't know why he did it. So there's a lot of stuff left out, and then he decides to kind of look at himself and be a better person, and decides to help Owen Wilson's character. So yeah, I don't really believe the time what's it called, time variant
Yeah.
authority that much. I don't know. I think there's a lot of fishy stuff going on. I think Owen Wilson is up to no good as
Yeah.
well in a way, you know. And we also got a really cool scene of the kind of picture of a devil on painted inside the church.
Mephisto
For me,
confirmed.
like, yes, yes, but also if you look at it, the horns are very similar to
Yeah.
what Loki's wearing in a few episodes from now as well. So we know that they're hunting a different version of Loki, which I think will be Lady Loki. That's who they're hunting. That's because the big mystery is someone is going through different timelines and killing people of the time variant authority. So that's what they're trying to investigate. But every time somebody goes into a timeline that they're not supposed to, the time variant authority shows up and they put these devices in the ground where it resets the timeline. Now, I don't know if it kills the people who've interacted with Loki, like in the Sand People, and then the kid. Do they kill them, or does it just reset them a few minutes beforehand before any of this happened? I don't know.
Yeah. Ascended, what do you think?
Um.
By how much you saw
Okay, I
it?
agree with a lot of things. Yes, dude. From what I saw, I really did like what I saw. Breaking down Loki's character was great. You know, seeing his mother, that scene, that was great. See, this is why I say like the first Thor movie was very, very
Yes.
underrated. Um, because the characters in that were very in depth. Never have has there since been characters that have been so, you know, real.
Yeah.
I'd say, right? For example, in the first four, you saw Loki and that speech with Odin speaking about how, you know, when he finds out that he's
Yes.
not his son, and that is one of the best scenes in the
Yes.
MCU. This to me felt that speech between that talking between him and Owen
Yeah.
Wilson's character, that's what it felt like to me. Seeing the change
Yeah.
in his face, realizing that nothing he's been doing all his life has been him, and it's just been somebody else controlling him essentially. And that thing as well of like free will, who's
Yeah.
controlling him? Is it right? Do they get the, you know, all those stuff just sound
Yeah.
just brilliant. And whoever came up with this entire idea is give them a raise because they deserve it. And
This is
I'm so
just
down
a
for it.
bigger,
Yeah,
bigger than the show. It's a bigger psychological thing because
it's
if
it's
nobody has free will and everything is determined, who's to say that,
yeah,
someone changing stuff shouldn't do it? And why how can they do it? Because, basically free will doesn't exist, right? So it's just, amazing. Did you see Devs?
I
Uh
haven't, but it is
Dude.
one you've been telling me to
Devs
watch. I
also
know,
deals with
I know.
determinism and time travel in such a way because the way that determinism gets brought into time travel is the way that Loki is handling it. Everything already exists and was supposed to happen and always is going to happen the way it is going to happen, right? And that's different from the general stuff that you get from CW or other time travel movies where if you do something different you change the
Yeah,
timeline and basically that's you're just made two different timelines, right? In determinism it's just one straight path and you are always going to do that thing and it's always determined and nothing can change it. So they are embracing that and also kind of breaking it by allowing these nexus things happening but then going back and fixing it. So I do like that aspect of this, and I think that in the next movie Doctor Strange, I think they are going to show what exactly will happen if the multiverse of madness happens, because we've only got a hint in the animated thing that there was a whole big war breakout when the multiverse was happened in the past, and that basically the timekeepers had to come in and make it a single timeline again. So now that the MCU is going on a single sacred timeline, um, in Doctor Strange, I guess something will happen that will cause the multiverse to, uh, you know, multiverse to exist again, and then of course the TVA people will come in and they wanna, fight them, and I don't know what will happen in that movie exactly, and I think they will just, bring in different characters from different movies and stuff like that just to show how crazy it can get and probably make some of them villains, to show us that it's not a good thing. And then the TVA will probably end up closing, or Doctor Strange will probably end up closing the multiverse in the end, back to a sacred timeline.
And yeah, and we also got the actress from Batman v Superman.
Oh
She
yeah,
appeared in it
she
as
was
well.
great.
Trial. So that was pretty cool, and the interaction between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston was brilliant. Very funny, but also the acting from the two of them was great. So I love Owen Wilson, and I love the Frat Pack, which is the like Jack Black, Vince Stiller, Vince Vaughn, because Will Ferrell are all in the same comedy movies. So pretty cool to see some of them appear in the MCU now. So I think Owen Wilson's doing a pretty good job, and I think he's holding his own. He doesn't seem out of place or anything. So that's pretty awesome.
Do you think there will be any more cameos from other MCU characters? Do you think Thor or anyone like that will show up?
Yeah, I think
so.
was a shot of Black Widow in one of the
Oh
trailers.
no,
I
that
thought.
wasn't Black
Maybe it
Widow.
was somebody
Yeah.
else. Wasn't that? Who was
Or it
it?
was someone else.
Oh, is somebody disguised as Black Widow? No, or it's just
No, it was
random.
just random, someone else.
Okay. So
Also,
I
Black
don't think
Widow
the
wouldn't be
show
that
needs to,
exciting.
but you know what it could do? It could do what we've already seen. We've seen Thor, we've seen the Avengers. It could do something like that, which would be pretty cool. It could do something like what we got to see in Endgame. It's just the perspective of 2012 movie where after capturing Loki and they go into the elevator, something like that. We could get something like that. Like the mother scene, he goes to Ant-Man or something like. I don't know. I think maybe a movie we've already seen before.
Yeah.
But that'd be cool, I think, as well.
Ascended?
I was kind of focused on someone else.
Okay.
You were talking about cameos, right? So you were talking about like multiverses as well before. I would really, really love. This is a great opportunity to bring in like potential castings that they had. For example, as you said earlier, Emily Blunt was supposed to be Black Widow, right? But she had to go ahead and do Gulliver's Travels because of contracts and stuff. That would be such a great way to bring her in. If you didn't want to do, Fantastic Four, she could just come in and do that. This would be. I know it's never going to happen, right? But this is the perfect way to like bring in, because when you open the multiverse,
Yeah.
you can do these great things, and you can have Tom Cruise, because we all this is the multiverse, and now we can see truly what could have been with the Tony Stark of Tom Cruise. I would love to see the stuff like that. I don't know if any of obviously they're not going to show up, right?
Yeah.
But if I had, I don't think anyone. Thor won't show up. I don't think so. Maybe Doctor Strange would, because this kind of ties into him.
Yeah.
But I
That's a good
generally
point.
don't think
They missed out on shooting that or having that in WandaVision, right?
Yes, big time. That was the biggest thing that they messed up. But see, this is how every time something happens with the MCU and it fails, they come around later on, like 2 months later, and they say, "Yeah, we changed this. We had to change this." And you're like, "Well, it was clearly going to be amazing." For example, with WandaVision, they had a lot of different plans. They changed some of them. Like, for example, with the adverts, that was supposed to be something different with Doctor Strange, right? But this is truly for me the time to like make a great show, and I feel like this is going to be a really, really good show, man. Just from what I saw.
Yeah. I hope so.
I'm just so ready.
I hope so. And we
Yeah.
we can just quickly go, shot by shot for this episode. Maybe we'll have some things to say. So this is the first, shot. There, he just lands, and then there's basically nothing here. Although I thought that in this scene there was something funny. I noticed. So the editing in this scene is basically showing them and showing the back of Loki without the head, and then cutting to Tom Hiddleston's character. So I don't think this happened in one scene together. For the most part, in just the punching scene, but that could also be CGI. So I don't think these were in the same scene. But yeah, that's okay. So for this shot, I think that the lights on the top, I think they represent the different universes. How the multiverse is shown in different mediums. I think it's kind of representative of that. And yeah, that's something.
That could be,
Yeah.
because the way they represent the multiverse by planets,
Yes.
Earths by side, I could truly see that. I mean, why else would you have 20,000, and we count 20,002 light
Right.
bulbs right next to one another? Yeah. But can I just, before we move on, I forgot to say this earlier on. This whole mythology that they brought in by like one little animated thing,
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah, me
incredible.
too.
I'm
I
so
wanted to
ready.
watch the
This is
whole thing with
perfect.
that. Like, it looked like a Flintstones cartoon.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's voiced by the minute clock thing is voiced by
Tara
Tara
Strong. Yeah.
Strong, voice voice of Harley Quinn and all the games and
Oh
animated
man, I love.
movies.
She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then this next shot is obviously of Mephisto, which is, clear foreshadowing of Mephisto being in Doctor Strange 2.
But then he won't be, and it'll just be it'll be Tom Hiddleston
Yeah.
himself.
I still think he wants kids or something. You know, I think he wants to build an army of kids with powers or something like that because you know the kids in one division are going to come around again at some stage. You know, and I think
Yeah, I
the
mean,
kid being given
that was kind of in the
the
background
sweet,
posters.
yeah, yeah. So I still think Mephisto has something to do with kids missing or using kids for is an advantage or something like that. Because him, like this shot right here is my favorite shot in the entire show so far. Is when Owen Wilson is talking to the kid, you just have the Mephisto painting in the background.
Yeah.
Now it could symbolize Loki as well, with the horns. It could be Mephisto. It could be both. You know, maybe Loki is Mephisto. That could be some, or maybe a version of Loki becomes Mephisto. I don't know.
Listen,
I just love that shot so much,
when
and the chewing gum or the sweets he's given has like
yeah,
a blue like Loki, a blue elf kind of like Loki's his origin. So
yeah. And also look, when WandaVision was going on and everybody was theorizing about Mephisto, Michael Waldron was writing Loki, and you know he was shooting this show, and then he was also hired to write Doctor Strange 2. So who knows? Feige maybe heard us and maybe added Mephisto to that movie. Just
and Feige listens to the fans as
yeah,
well, so don't forget that.
what an odd thing to do, but he does.
Yeah,
Listening to
he's
your fans? How dare you?
the three timekeepers are very
Yes.
interesting to me. I don't think they're real. think I don't think they're
Do
real.
you
It's
think?
like Wizard of Oz.
Do you think one of these
No.
is Kang?
Yeah, that's what I thought. The middle one I thought was that's Kang or something like that. I just thought that's what came to my head today watching it. Was I think this is Kang the
Yo,
Conqueror.
Do you think he'll
yes,
show up?
yes.
Maybe not. Maybe teased. Maybe not show up because it's a Disney Plus show.
Does not look like Darkseid though.
What?
Looks a bit like
Yeah.
Darkseid.
I mean, all
Marvel
of
stealing
these
DC.
big ones kind of look similar to each other. So, but the middle one does look a lot like because of his, helmet thing.
I'd say
Yeah.
the one on the left looks a bit like Darkseid. Time to send the lawyers in.
But yeah, so
But
the city.
Kang.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying, Kang is going to be probably going to be the big baddie in the next few like
Yeah,
Marvel stories. So
Phase 4.
yeah, we could get some hints. Yeah, he might not show up, but he get a large hint at him.
Probably. I mean, he kind of is as big as Thanos, right? When it comes to the big baddies. But then he is the villain in Ant-Man Quantumania, so
Yeah.
who knows,
It's a weird film to
right?
make your introduction in. Yeah. But then again, didn't Thanos show up in like post credit scenes of Guardians?
True.
Or he was actually
Yep.
in Guardians, wasn't he? Or was it? It was, yeah. So who knows?
Yeah. And then we have this shot. I thought this was amazing. Like this gives me the Star Wars, old Star Wars vibe. Just these would have been gray or white instead of, yellow. So
What's it supposed
this
to
is
be?
supposed to be their TVA headquarters, I think. The entire thing. The
What
right
a beautiful shot.
and
Right.
the
Yeah.
one
Yes.
the
I
thing
love
on
that
the
entire shot.
middle there, the thing that they're holding, the statues. there's Nexus written on it. So I think that thing tracks wherever there's a Nexus event in the multiverse, so that they can go and fix that. It's pretty cool. There's flying cars and everything.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a on water
Yes,
Atlantis
yes.
from Aquaman. Just looks,
And one
yeah, it
more
looks,
thing I
looks pretty cool.
forgot to say about this show is that I love the score in this show. It's so different. The instruments used are so different, and the Loki theme is pretty cool. Loki's theme, I think there's a Loki's mom's theme as well. When he thinks about her or when he sees her, there was a different kind of theme. I don't know if it's Loki's theme or it's just specific to his mom, but that was really good. And then there's obviously the title, title track with Loki. That I think that was amazing as well. And then we have the scenes with the monitor thing that they watched all the videos, watched the whole MCU on. And oh yeah, the DB Cooper thing, I think is interesting. We saw that much in the trailer, but they didn't expand on it much. But I do think that they should have showed another different flashback, just to add variety to how he escapes. Did you think that was needed, or were you fine with it?
No, because D.B. Cooper was never found. His body was never found, so it kind of makes sense that Loki and he teleported back to Asgard.
Right?
I thought it was fine. Yeah,
Even Mobius was very surprised and excited by that.
yeah. He said he's a fan of him, so
Oh, and this scene was also cool where he meets the clerk in one of the rooms, and he sees in one of the, his desks, he sees the Tesseract, and he also sees a bunch of Infinity Stones, which he says that are just there for, paperweight. That was also really cool.
Yeah, I think that's where I ended it, but I love that. And you know what? That moment was great because you're looking at it, and he's looking at the stones, which are so valuable
Yeah.
in his world, but he's looking at so many there that are just to him essentially, to them essentially just
Yeah.
rubbish. Let's hold some paper down.
That's when Loki realized that I was chasing the entire Avengers 1 just for a fucking Tesseract. And these guys have a bunch of Infinity Stones lying around, which by the way, I don't know how he knew about the Infinity Stones, but whatever. We'll give him a pass. But he saw all of that, and he just realized that the whole TVA HQ is way more powerful than those stupid stones that Thanos was after. Because they control everyone's lives, they control everyone's realities, and they control time. So they can bring back anyone to life as well. They can change realities. They can reverse time. They can change time. They can do anything basically. So
They're gods essentially.
right?
Essentially, these are gods, and that is insane.
It's crazy. And obviously Loki saw that and
Nuts.
he was interested in this power now.
And and it's funny because all this time he's been talking about how he's a god, but then seeing how
Yeah.
these people are like beyond gods, like Jesus, it's nuts.
Yeah, and then Mobius basically told him that you're not special, you're just a pussycat. And I was like, wow. That must hurt. But yeah, everything else
Well,
was
I'm not,
really, really cool. And there's this ending shot. I know, Sended, you haven't seen it, and
I'm not even
I
looking
won't
at it.
spoil anything, but it just looks really cool. It looks like
Cool.
something
yeah.
from Alien Covenant or Prometheus. It looks really good.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at
and
my phone, so
it's like this person who's going around and all the killing. They're going to different periods. So there's like
yeah.
1845. There's they're going all over the different timelines, and we don't really know why they're doing it so far. But we get a little bit of an indication at the end of the episode, which I won't spoil. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting hunt for this mystery person.
Yeah. So
Personally, having watched trailers, I'm of the mindset that whoever that person is probably believes that the TVA is
yeah,
wrong morally to controlling everybody's life. And see, just thinking about that, I'm essentially on the side of the villain, basically. So, yeah,
yeah, but it also I think depends on um I think it depends on the future episodes what they really are about because just an animated
yeah,
thing I don't think gives us the whole truth. So there must
yeah,
be more consequences. So I'm just waiting to, see that first.
yes,
All right. So with that, we conclude our Loki episode 1 talk. We'll definitely be doing this every single week and I definitely loved it and I enjoyed it more than the episode 1 of WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm super excited
yes,
for the next episode.
yeah. I said before, I think WandaVision should have been episode one, two, and
Yeah.
three should have been released in the first week, and then go back to normality in the second week, which would have been episode four. And I just personally don't think that Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I believe it had some good moments in there with a lot of heart. I'll be honest with you, with Falcon, I really did appreciate him more as a character.
Yeah.
I don't want to obviously switch over to this, but I this is to me above all of those, and it's only
Yeah,
one episode
true.
in, so yeah,
I agree.
that's, yeah,
But Maher probably would disagree because he really liked Falcon and Winter Soldier and just we've just seen one episode, so it's fair.
Yeah, well, Falcon and the Winter Soldier for me is the third best MCU movie show.
Wow.
So we've gotten. So yeah, but
First being
Loki is
Avengers.
a good start. So let's see what,
wow. I
what's
didn't know
that.
you had a thing for Anthony Mackie.
Oh, he's a pretty good Captain America, and his acting skills have improved, and he was pretty good
I
in that
agree.
show.
I
So
agree with that.
I, I,
I really liked his Captain America.
I would say Infinity War, Winter Soldier, and probably Falcon and the Winter Soldier is my top three.
Nice.
I like.
I want to talk about this. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I liked when we're going into Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I just want to say I really liked when Anthony Mackie was just talking
Yeah.
about even just trying to bring down the villain, but they by
Yeah.
just talking. Those were brilliant moments. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that we conclude our Loki talk. and
And Falcon and Winter Soldier.
and we can jump on to the next topic here, which is the Reminiscence trailer. Have you guys seen this?
Yes.
What did you
I'm a fan of this guy. And I never heard about it, so that makes me think: what are you, as Warner Brothers, doing to promote this film? Nothing. One trailer comes out, and yeah. But yeah, I mean, it looks like everything I'd want to see. It's in the future. Um, as it's kind of a bit of Inception and Minority Report kind of thing that's going on. Yeah, I genuinely think this is going to be another small hit in my opinion.
I agree, man. It looks
I,
fantastic.
Hugh Jack, Hugh Jackman is a pretty big fan base from The Greatest Showman to
Yeah,
superheroes. So I think it's like I understand why they're not marketing it as much because it's going to be on streaming as well. So it makes sense to only market it like 2 or 3 weeks out. But you know, I'd say a lot of these directors and stars are pretty annoyed at Warner Brothers because box office is getting back. I think like it takes away a little bit if it's on streaming at the same time. Like The Conjuring opened to what 23 million. Like if it was just theaters, that could have been a lot more. You know what I mean? it takes away because the easy option is to stay at home and watch them. If you have kids or if you're tired or from work or stuff, you'd stay at home and just press play because it's easier. So I definitely want to see this on the big screen. I'm not going to watch this at home. So
Same.
yeah, so
I
yeah, it looks good,
wish.
and you have to
Yeah.
settle for your TV. We'll see.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of movies, today was the first time when about 8 months that I went to the theaters again.
Awesome.
So good. It's good to be back, man. I watched 2 films in one day.
Wow. That's awesome, man. I
Yeah.
wish I could do that right now.
Yeah.
The last movie I watched was
Dude,
GBK.
oh, sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
Dude, we went to the first film, which was Nobody, and we gave enough time in between the films. We went into the movie. The film starts. In the beginning you see like it says the name of the film. That happened. The lights came on, and then it was just a black screen. So 20 minutes later, nothing happened. They said, "Sorry, we canceled the film." And then we were just sitting outside the cinema, just chilling. The security guard comes out. He says, "Hey, if you want to watch, there's another screen starting right now." We went in, watched it. Brilliant movie.
What?
Nobody. Really enjoyed it. And then we went ahead and watched A Quiet Place.
Nice. That's a great double feature.
It was. But that's what this movie. I know you're saying that they don't have to promote it too much, but there wasn't anything. This was like worse than Netflix. I hadn't heard that it was even being made or
Yeah.
he was even in it. Either I failed as a movie fan, or they just failed. They did nothing.
This movie I think comes out in
Yeah, but it's not
August.
a big IP or yeah, it's not like a massive IP or
Yeah.
anything like that. So it would make sense in a way. You really haven't heard about it that much. If
I
it
think they
was
will ramp up the
Hugh Jackman,
promotion later on.
it doesn't come out for 2 months, so yeah, I think that's loads of time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 2 months left for it, and yeah, I'll wait for it. I'll watch it in the theaters. Same.
Yeah.
And the budget was only 68 million.
Oh, really? 68?
Yeah, so
No way.
yeah, doesn't look like it, but it was 68 million.
That's less than Army of the Dead.
Oh, it's interesting. Yeah, Army Dead looks cheaper than this one, you know. But
It does.
yeah, that's interesting. That's hopefully it will be to have an unbelievable team behind it. So if that's the case, then it's all positive.
Yeah, I'm totally excited for it, and I'll watch it the minute it drops. So yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next topic, we have here is Jupiter's Legacy got canceled. Um,
Okay.
okay, listen. Firstly, I liked the show for the most part. I did have a lot of issues with it. I thought that it could have been way better if certain choices weren't made, or certain choices were made which weren't made. Uh, so I did think there was potential for a season two, which actually was what the show was about, which they didn't explore in season one, because it dragged so much. So I was definitely going to tune in to season two, and I wish that they had kept it going, but it's unfortunate. I think it's just, I think it was inevitable because of the criticism and backlash and all that, but I was just, waiting for season two to come out because I was interested in this world already, so I wanted to watch it. But yeah, it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Well, look, this show didn't do bad. It was number one on the Nielsen charts for most minutes watched. It was on number one on Netflix. But what really killed this movie was maybe word of mouth, and the budget was 200 million. And it didn't look like it was a movie or a show with a budget of 200 million. It really didn't. I don't know where they spent most of the money on this because the cast isn't all star. It's not full of A-lister names. No offense to the actors, but there's a lot of unknowns in it. It's an IP that's not known that universally. So to spend that much on it, was a little bit much in my
Yeah.
opinion. But I enjoyed the show. I liked it. I watched it all in the one day. I was looking forward to season two. But then when I delved more into the comics, he kept a lot of the really good stuff for season two. Like the really good, the most important jaw dropping stuff were going to happen in season two, because the flashback stuff in the first season, that all happened in the comic books in like 1 or 2 pages, and he made 8, 9 episodes just out of that stuff. So I think that was a little bit of a mistake. But then again, his comments about maybe Zack Snyder and Batman v Superman have come back to bite him in the ass, because what he criticized Zack Snyder for doing, he actually did it himself,
But also didn't
and
go through with it.
people tore it apart. And I think, yeah, yeah, exactly. And he had a really cool idea about superheroes killing or not, but he never had any progression in it. He set it up in episode one, and then episode 8 or 9, whatever many episodes it was the exact same place as it was. So he never really
Yeah.
progressed it whatsoever. And I think a lot of it is people were waiting in the shadows for Mark Miller to come out with something new so they could bash it. Like there's a lot of haters online, a lot of people who love Zack Snyder and his world and stuff. But I think people were just waiting to shit on this as well, and maybe rightfully so at times. But I think, yeah, you know, a lot of this backlash has arose because of his hatred towards Zack Snyder and Batman v Superman. Because I think his comments about Batman v Superman are a little bit like he can have a different opinion and he can not like it, but the way he presented those
Yeah.
comments were very toxic, very like not good luck. So I think
Unwarranted.
people probably looked at that and thought, well, why should I be kind of filtered in my comments towards his
Yeah.
show if that's the way he was? So yeah, I think that's what kind of killed it. But the universe will live on. There's an animated new show coming with it's going to focus on the villains. So this universe isn't dead. It's
I
just
don't
turning into
care
an
anymore.
animated form, and the actors have been released. The actors have been released from their
That's the
contracts,
worst
and they
thing
might
that
be
they
brought
do.
back for future animated stuff. So, the animated show, if the trailer looks good, I might watch it. But if it's just completely stopping this storyline that we were invested in, then
It
I
was it
probably
was
won't
already
watch it.
hard to, love the show, but I still enjoyed watching it because it promised certain things and had potential, right? And now they just canceled it and the actors are let go. Now I'm definitely not interested in anything Millar World is going to do, because why? Why should
Same.
I?
Must have He must have been convinced that he's going to get a
Right?
season two if they leave all this stuff for season two, and then it doesn't happen. So I don't know what the
Yeah.
thinking was behind it.
I also think
I
that
thought
Steven
like
denied
I like
leaving.
I like the world and the characters.
Steven denied leaving. I think was a big um thing for them to not continue it, because they probably signed on this project for him, and since he's not gonna be there, I don't think they wanted to continue.
And it's funny.
Because he, yeah,
So I was going to say it's funny how Stephen Denai has been adamantly open about saying,
Yeah,
I left. He has, he's not
he's
taken his
respectfully
name.
saying, "Don't put my name on
It's
it."
like, yeah, that's got nothing to do with me. So that makes me think like they
Yep.
mess with it, and so it's like what they did with Justice League, but they put Zack's name on it. That's how I feel. This is what happened here, but I haven't seen the show, so I never will.
Look, the problem with, I think, his, okay,
but
so I was on board with his dilemma, right? Should superheroes kill or not kill? The main character was in that dilemma, and he was basically very stern on that. And he was the only one holding by this code thing and saying that superheroes should never kill, and that should be followed by everyone, like, right? So that's basically Mark Millar saying that no
Yeah.
matter what, Zack Snyder, you're listening, Zack Snyder, no matter what, you shouldn't kill. That's basically him saying that. Okay, fine, I buy that. You think that, that's your opinion. You're basing your show on that, and you're having other characters in your show breaking that rule, and your main character having to deal with that. All that stuff was interesting. That's fine. And although I don't agree with that, it's still cool that you are holding on to that belief and you're exploring that. I'm totally on board with that, right? But then what happens? The finale comes in. The character is put into a Zod type situation, Zod snap neck type situation, and then the character doesn't make a choice. Like he doesn't make. I mean to say that he doesn't even choose to not kill. He just flinches, and the scene ends, and they get distracted. So it's basically Mark Millar doing a big cop out and just not even staying true to his own opinion. So I was like, dude, at least make him kill or make him not kill. Don't leave everyone hanging in between. Say something. It was just so
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. It's like he criticized Zack Snyder, and then it said, "Okay, Mark, you go and you show us how it's done." And then he got to the last moment where he was about to show everybody how it's
Yeah.
done, and then he flopped, and he got stage fright, and he was like, "Well, they don't kill because they don't kill."
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, he kind of messed up. But I was still interested in some of the teams he was setting up. You know, the father
Yes.
issues that I forget the characters' names already, but Jupiter or Utopia's daughter,
Chloe.
father issues there because he was never there for them as a kid and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, I thought that stuff was interesting. It was like I wanted to focus on the
Yeah.
core group more. You know, what happened after they got their powers? You know, how did they break up? Because that stuff sounded very interesting, but it looks like he was keeping that for season 2 and season 3 and flashbacks, which, yeah, just give us what we
Right?
want now.
Oh well, it's cancelled now, so there's literally no point in anyone watching it or enjoying it. So
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
here's a question. Here's a question. Since it's cancelled, and it really depends on how far they've gone into producing this animated thing.
they haven't started.
Obviously, here we are. They haven't started. Okay. So obviously, since here we are talking about how we're not interested because they've cancelled
Yeah.
the main thing, right? Do you think they'll cancel that as
No, I
well?
think they'll probably try to build up with other things in that because I think they signed a deal with Mark Miller for multiple different things. That's the reason
Yeah.
they're.
And then
It,
cancel them
it,
one by one as well.
they own Mark Miller and Miller World, so they literally bought him for
Yeah.
him to make them ideas. And the first one has
Oh
failed.
yeah, they
So
own
the
it.
second one,
Yes. Yeah, you're
so the
right. I
second one
completely
needs
forgot they
to,
own Miller
So
World.
weird.
yeah, so the
So
second one needs to succeed.
so they could literally go ahead and do Miller World without Mark
Yeah,
Miller.
Well, in a way, probably, but I'd say it's in contracts where he has to be
it
involved.
is.
You know, because
Maybe.
he doesn't.
Who knows?
I bet you it is because he's the type of guy that wants to run his own IP.
That's
They're not
true.
going to
Yeah, he
take his
said he's
ideas
very
and go off
controlling.
and get someone else to make it. He was in the editing room for this series as well, and he used to. I think it was an interview with Grace or somebody. He was like,
Yes.
"Yeah, I used to think of ideas when I was asleep at night, and then I'd ring my editor and tell them what to do, stuff like that." You know, so he was very controlling over this. So I
Yeah.
bet you it's in contracts where he has to be involved, unless Netflix will have to buy him out of that contract and have to pay him more just so he will not be involved. So yeah, I think that's
Hmm.
it's gonna be hard to take that off. I think he'd
Yeah.
nearly walk. He would go in a legal battle against Netflix and sell them the entire thing.
Yeah. Um. That said, he blocked me because he didn't like what I had to say.
Well, he is a personality.
And that, you know what? That probably that actually, I'm sure you're right because by the way, you can obviously text is toneless. You can't really get everything in text when people write something, but you can still have some sense of what they say and how they are like. I've never met or seen or watched him talk, but you can see that in his personality that he is a person that
Yeah.
wants it his way. So yeah, it's my way or the
Yeah.
highway basically. So cancel him.
Yeah, it's cancelled. So
Cancel
there's
him.
basically no point in talking about it anymore. So let's move on to what's actually coming out soon. It's The Boys season 3. And this is a show that
Yeah.
almost everyone loves and are definitely excited whenever a new season is dropping. And now we have the very first look at Soldier Boy. And this is a new character that's going to be introduced into the season. And I literally don't know anything about this character, except from this look. That's all I know about it. So if any of you guys have seen this before or know anything about the character, go ahead and please let me know.
Yeah,
Um,
so basically he's I'm, I have I'm speaking Ascended. Do you know about him Ascended?
yeah, man, I know about him. He's like, no, I don't know anything. Go ahead.
Uh, that's why
Sorry,
we
sir.
have him on.
Sorry, sir.
Why we have him on. No, he's like kind of like a cross between Captain America and a little bit like Superman as well, in terms of this patriotic hero. But he's the first kind of hero that Voight is it Voight, the company's name?
Yes.
Um, uh, yeah, he's the kind of the first soldier from them,
Oh.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, so he's like I'm guessing, but I think he's the one who thinks he should be over the boys instead of, or not the boys. He should be over the seven instead of
Mm-hmm.
Homelander. You know, I think there's a bit of ego that will go on there. I'm sure if Homelander really wanted to, he could kill him easily. You know, but he is powerful. He's like Captain America and stuff like that. So Jensen Ackles, of course, from Supernatural, good actor. Yeah, so basically he's just like Captain America, and he's kind of the original super soldier for Voight. And also some other supernatural influence on the boys. Season 3 is Jeffrey Dean Morgan will be appearing also this season. He's going to be
What?
appearing in the last. Yeah, he's in the boys as well.
Nice.
He's going to be in the last. I think it's a small role. I think he's going to come in for the last 2 or 3 episodes, but he'll be a bigger role in season 4. So I'm excited about that. So definitely got Negan and we've got Thomas Wayne coming into boys. So that's awesome.
What do you,
Yeah,
what do you think of
I'll
the
take that.
casting?
Oh,
Yes.
I can speak now. Thank you, sir. Um, I think okay. First of all, I love Jensen Ackles because I watched I watched Supernatural for a very long time. Uh, I love the man. I was so happy when he got cast in it because he was supposed to be Captain America, right? Um, no, he was in the running. No, I'm sure he was in the running.
Okay.
He was in the
Not
running.
sure,
I'm pretty
maybe.
sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he was, but maybe I'm wrong. But he's always he's done. I've always wanted him to be a superhero character for a long time.
People
Either
wanted him
in
to be Red Hood.
the like the Red Hood. Yeah, Red Hood. I mean, he's a great actor. He can do so. He can do range. I mean, he's just so cool. Like, if you had to think of a cool superhero, you'd have to cast this guy. I just don't see anything wrong with casting him. For Soldier Boy, I mean, the name is kind of
Yeah.
silly, but it's the boy, so yeah, it's okay. You have to go with it. He looks great. The costume looks incredible. I'll be honest with you. Um, and that's just just 2 pictures, and I'm sure it will look a lot better
Yes. With
in
the color
play.
grading and everything.
When it's on. Yes, because these just look like a
Yeah.
photo shoot that someone had at cosplay
Yeah.
in a sense. But otherwise, the costume looks incredible. Jason Ackles is incredible. And yeah, why not? Like, I'm so happy for this. Like, this came out of nowhere. They just dropped it out of the blue. I just can't wait for season 3.
Yeah. Me too, man.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the boys, and I'm definitely be watching first day the day it drops.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, like this, like we talk about the names of the boys and the seven and stuff like that. Like, this world is basically a
Yeah.
parody of like Justice League, So and maybe some of the Marvel universe as well. So Soldier Boy is like the most parody name you could pick
Yeah.
instead of Captain America. It's jokes like that. So I think that's pretty cool. And Homelander instead of Supermander or Superman, Supermander, but Superman. It's all kind
Yeah.
of
Superman.
cheesy names. Supermander, I like that. That's cool.
Zack
Supermander.
Snyder's Homelander.
But Yeah. So it's interesting, and he's like he's also like a poster boy, so he won't use like bad language. He won't curse in public
Oh,
and stuff like that. He's very respectful. So there's some good comedic moments to be had there. I don't think Homelander's going to like him whatsoever.
then it will be cool to see the interaction between him and Billy Butcher.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I love the show. I think it's incredible, and ironically, a new version of the show in Jupiter's Legacy just flopped, but this is just continuing.
Yeah. Look, in this day and age, you cannot just have mediocre shit and then have people interested. There's top
I
quality content today, and you need to be in that competition.
Yes, I agree. Um, I have one question.
Oh, Mario
Sean's
muted.
talking. Oh, he's muted, so that's good. Okay, I'm gonna talk, and he can wait because we don't like him.
Go ahead.
But what I was gonna ask is simply this: because I think Netflix does wrong. I think they should move away from the whole binging model. I think those are detrimental to their products and their shows. You don't talk about it. You don't experience it with your friends. There's no that talking about these shows with your friend is a big part, in my
Yeah.
opinion. That's why it shows like The Mandalorian and The Boys are such like The Boys was an incredible thing they did in season one, but season two just took that to a weekly model, and I think that's what really elevated it. Because I think if they kept dropping it weekly every season, they would have lost fans, in my opinion. So my question is, do you think that Netflix or should switch to weekly, and do you think Amazon should drop it at once? Because I personally prefer how Amazon does it. Drop 2 episodes or whatever, and then drop the rest weekly. That's my preference.
Yes, I do think the weekly model is definitely better for experiencing a show, especially because you can talk about each episode with your friends and all of that. And that is also financially good for them, so it's the best of everything. But if Netflix wanted to move in that direction, I think the a better way to do that is to have multiple episodes drop at once instead of the entire show. Like have first two episodes and then two and then two like that. That would be cool. But there's also stuff like The Queen's Gambit, which was also a binged show, and everybody binged it, and it's one of the highest, most viewed, and all that. You know, so I think there's different kinds of audience, and both will find something to watch. So if Netflix is gonna be the only one that stays like that, dropping everything at once, I guess that's fine by them.
But I don't think they can sustain that for a long time, personally.
well, it's their model that's worked and makes them the most viewed streaming service. I think it depends on the show as well.
Yeah.
Some
Jupiter's
shows
Legacy wouldn't have
are,
survived that.
no, but yeah, like Stranger Things is such a massive show. People want to watch it now. They want to watch every single episode, and people probably go insane if they start dropping it weekly. But it depends on the show. They're already flirting with that idea because in July there is a trilogy of horror movies coming out in 3 different decades, I think, or 3 different. It's either decades or centuries. So for 3 weeks straight, Netflix are releasing this trilogy. So week one is the first part. Next week, second part of the trilogy, and then the week after is the third part. So that's
Nice.
interesting how they're doing that. They've made they made 3 movies, and instead of dropping them all at once, they're spacing them out. So maybe they're flirting with the idea, see how it works. But to be honest, in different territories, they try different things. In France, they're not really into the binge and the streaming material of television. In Netflix in France, they actually have scheduled times for their shows and stuff. You can watch. Of course, you can pick shows to watch whenever you want, but Netflix actually have a channel where shows like 2 o'clock is Jupiter's Legacy, 3 o'clock is this, 4 o'clock is this. They've tested that in France because
Program.
that's what that demographic of people in France. That's what they prefer to. That's what they prefer to watch on television. So different territories are already flirting with the idea. So I could see them if they had a massive show that they knew was going to be a hit. I could see them releasing maybe one or two shows weekly. But I think for the rest, the majority will be released all at once because that's their model. I don't think it's got to do with weekly or binge. I think it's got to do with the quality of the shows. You know, if let's say what's the best Disney Plus show, say Mandalorian, and what's the best Amazon show, The Boys. If they released at that quality on Netflix, but they were all binged, I think I don't think it would make a difference really because the quality is as good. We want to watch it, so I don't think they're going to change it.
Yeah.
Hugely.
All right. So we can
Yeah.
jump on to the next topic here, which is again similar to this one. There was a costume reveal for Shazam 2. And what are my thoughts? I like it. I like when the suits have textures like the Man of Steel one and all the Michael Wilkinson suits basically. The first suit was very ugly and very like a balloon. It was so smooth and it was just bad looking. But it kind of worked for that movie, and I liked that the cape was different. Um, although a lot of people called it curtains, but but yeah, it was a silly movie, so that kind of suit worked for him. But I think this suit looks really good. I hope that his Shazam matures a little bit and he tones down his Levi a little bit. He was going full on in the first movie, which I thought shouldn't have been the case, especially because the young Billy Batson wasn't like that. And I thought that this Zachary Levi just brought it in. Yeah, I think that if that reduced, that would be cool. So, um, what do you think of it?
How's it now?
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is I think the costume looks incredible, man, and all I can think is upgrades, people, upgrades. It just looks, and you're completely right. I mean, the previous suit didn't have much textures to it. It was just a muscle suit, right? But looking at this, there's just so much more to it. It doesn't feel one layered. That to me, looking at it right now, it just feels like there's so much more to it. And yeah, I'm just so happy they moved away from that. I didn't hate the previous suit, and I think it worked for that. But if you're gonna have an upgrade, this is
Yeah.
an upgrade.
Maher?
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
do agree
I
with
think
what you. Sorry, last thing. What I was gonna say is that I do agree with that. I loved Shazam. I think it did well. I think it was released in the worst
Yeah.
time possible. I think, but overall, while I did like the movie, I think that Billy and the older Shazam, there did feel like a disconnect between those two
Yeah.
characters because one of them acted like an emo kid, and then the other one acted like
His friend.
a 5-year-old on like sugar.
He acted like
You know?
Freddy.
Yeah, basically.
I never had a problem with that. Like Shazam came out in between Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame. It was the worst
Yeah.
time to release the film ever. It
Yes.
should have been released maybe Thanksgiving. But
Christmas.
yeah, I thought
It probably was
thought the film
another
was
bonus
fine.
thing.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but I thought the film was fine. It was a good watch. And I had
Yeah.
a lot darker than I was expecting. Especially the boardroom scene was terrifying and stuff like that. And the film did well enough at the box office for a relatively unknown character, especially with the DCU in very much messy circumstances coming off Justice League. Aquaman made $1 billion, but then this unknown character Shazam comes out. I think it did all right. Reviews were pretty good. So yeah, but the suit here it suits Zachary Levi's physique a lot better. He's definitely put on muscle himself. There was pictures of him on his Instagram working out in the gym. And I think the first suit was just I didn't hate it or anything. It's just it looked too fake. His muscles looked too fake, and every superhero suit has padding, but like even Ben Affleck's one has padding. But you can believe Ben Affleck's big as Batman because how he is. Like he's a big guy, and his scenes with his shirt off and stuff like that, he looked huge. So and Henry Cavill is massive already. So like those guys are believable in the suits. Zachary Levi didn't really get that because you only see him in the suit. You never see him in normal clothes as Zachary
Yeah.
Levi. So that could have been a reason for that as well. But here it looks leaner. It looks like tight, and I think it looks better. And usually set photos, they look terrible when we see them, and then everyone's like, "Wait till the movie, it will look better." This set photo
Yes.
actually looks brilliant, so wait till the movie, it's probably going to look even better. So that's pretty cool. And I think
Yeah.
even though they're not admitting it, I think it's going to be very much in the same tone as the Black Adam one.
Hmm.
Because if like come on, if these two are going to be in a movie at some stage, if Black Adam was to stand beside Shazam in the first one, it would look
Yep.
like you'd laugh out loud. So they needed to change it.
I agree with that. Yeah. And I was gonna say that I didn't have an issue with the difference between the characters and their personalities, but it was one
Yes.
thing that stood out to me.
Yeah, I also didn't
Yeah, and
think
I
that it broke the movie or anything. I just would have preferred him not
yeah,
to go. I just would have preferred him to dial it down back to 8 or 9 instead of 11.
yeah. But you know what? This is the one issue that I'm gonna have with the movies, and this is why I do support some films being filmed back to back. Like if they wrote, for example, they're filming Mission Impossible 15 and 19 together, right? I don't know how many they've got, but was it 7 and 8?
I have
They're
no idea.
filming something together. They're filming two together. Okay, the point is
They,
they're filming two back to back, right? Yeah. So because Tom Cruise is an older gentleman, but it's okay because he's an older guy. But my point is that the kids grow fast. So by the time the first one came out in 2019, right? By the time early 2019, right? So by the time the second one comes out, those kids are gonna be like 35, basically. They're gonna look so much
I
older,
think
man.
I
Just,
think
I
it
mean,
works
that little
for one
girl,
trilogy, but after that it's going to be a problem.
yeah, it will be. That's why I tell you, you have to film it back to back. If you have kids, be smart, film it back to back, and
Or just
yeah,
make some magical thing happen that the Shazam character is forever Shazam. He's never going to turn back into the kid. So something like that.
yeah. Or you can CGI the kids, or just change them out for like every movie.
Yeah, but yeah, it's this movie is kind of interesting because of the cast. Helen Mirren is in it, and Lucy Liu is in it. So it's interesting where to take this. It's David Sandberg again. He has obviously learned from the first movie and will try to improve a lot in this one. I know he will because, of course, he said so. But again, he's an amazing director, and he will always try to make himself better and do a better job. So I'm hyped for that, but I also do have some of the things that I would change, and I hope that those are implemented.
Yeah,
And especially, I want to change the fucking Superman theme. And talking about that, this is a very bad transition, but this stupid topic doesn't even deserve a good transition. So there you go. The next project is this. Oh, look who's here. It's Crypto the Superdog. And they revealed the logo, the animation, and the cast for DC's League of Super Pets. But there's a catch.
yeah. We can't see it, by the way.
Yeah, you can see it,
Oh,
but you can't hear
oh,
it.
okay. I just saw it.
So there's a catch. It's playing the um it's playing the John Williams theme, and I don't know why. But it is. So I wanna give you guys the first thing to talk. So I'll be last. Go ahead, praise it all you want.
but like we don't know where Crypto the dog comes from. It could be Christopher Reeve's dog. in that universe. You know what I mean? They could do something
Stop
like
it.
that. And that's why they're using that theme
Stop
song.
it.
So we can't really
Stop it.
judge until we see the movie,
Stop
and
it.
that could be a reason. It could be because like
We
parents
know what
will
the reason is,
parents will
Maher.
bring their kids to go see
Stop
this.
excusing it.
Oh, but it's the most well known Superman theme. You know, the Man of Steel one isn't. But
The Man of
older
Steel one
generations of
isn't because
audience,
they're
not
not
kids.
using it.
Yeah, because it's that
I'm
universe
sorry.
is
Are you
not.
a Warner Brothers
It's not.
supervisor? Do you sympathize with
It's
them?
not.
Maher
Hands
got
up,
Warner
paid.
Brothers
man.
don't.
Kick him out.
Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers don't look at this universe as their universe for superheroes or Superman. You know, if they did, we would have a Batman movie or a Superman sequel. You know, stuff like that. So, like that's not like even if audiences do know the Man of Steel team, they're being down their throat is the old one, Christopher Reeve's one, because they think that's the right way that these characters should be represented. So that's a studio thing. Implementation onto the creators, maybe I don't know, but yeah, look, it's a kids movie. I'm not going to get so annoyed over a kids movie. It has a pretty good cast, and if The Rock's attached to it, it must be pretty good. If Kevin Hart's attached to it, it must be good as well. So Keanu Reeves is also there. So I'm sure it will be a family fun Superpets movie. We could argue all day why isn't there a Man of Steel sequel or why isn't there a Ben Affleck movie? We could argue those things all day, but it's not as simple as that when it comes to Warner Brothers. This movie here is a good cast, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be some family fun.
Was this a trailer? Was this a complete trailer or something?
Yeah, this was a cast reveal thing.
But there is not a full trailer,
No.
it's just a cast reel. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Oh,
so
Kate
hyped for this
McKinnon
film.
is in it.
Just yeah, my excitement level is the same level of excitement I had for My Little Pony.
Wow.
Who cares? I don't know why they're doing
Look.
this. They could literally be making anything, but they want to make an Hourman movie. They want to make a Super Pets movie. How lost can you guys be over at Warner Brothers? That's all I'm saying. That's all I want to say.
Look, I think the idea of this was good on paper until I saw this. I think that they want to appeal to kids and they want to have that whole four quadrant bullshit that all the lies they did at HBO Max and all that shit. I think this was one of those movies that they wanted to make for kids, and that's totally fine, right? They're doing one of them high animation style for kids. That's fine. I just cannot. I instantly got turned off watching this trailer because it had that theme, and I hate the fact that they still don't want to move forward and they always want to just go back to that old thing. And I know that it's the most recognizable thing because they're not using the new theme. If they just look, the Star Wars movies, even till this day, if you want to watch a Star Wars movie, you want to hear that damn theme every movie in the beginning. They just force it onto you. Even if you hate that theme, they just force you to listen to it, right? That's how you make it relevant. Just put it on everything. That's how it becomes famous. The moment you start not using it, the moment you don't think that your Superman is, can be different iterations or it can move forward, that's basically you saying that, oh, we haven't moved past 19 whatever the fuck, whenever the fuck that came out. And it's just so disappointing to just keep seeing Warner Brothers being in that same boat. They even did that with Shazam, which I fucking hated. It's utterly disrespectful because to me, a score of a character, a theme of a character, is just as much as important as the actor itself. If you don't have the theme of the actor, it's very disrespectful for me. So they did the same thing with Superman and Shazam. Fine, you don't have his face, whatever, but playing that theme just broke that scene for me because that's not that. Because even the suit was Henry Cavill's suit, so playing that theme over that suit, Superman, is just really, really disrespectful, and I just
Yeah,
cannot.
I'll agree with you on that one. It's disrespectful to Henry Cavill and that universe's Superman because they're
And
using
Hans
a
Zimmer.
theme from years ago. Yeah, exactly. But here, I wouldn't think it's as disrespectful. This is a animated movie. This isn't connected to the
Yeah.
DCU or Henry Cavill or anything like that.
It's not
This is
disrespectful.
obviously to
It's just
show.
their mentality of being stuck in the past. That's just I
Well, they
don't want
want, yeah, well, they want parents to watch this as well with their kids. That's probably a reason. Like if there was an animated Star Wars show, which I think there is going to be one of R2D2 and stuff, it's probably going to be kid
But
friendly. I'm
Star
sure there's
Wars
going to be
has
some
only
stuff for
one
parents
theme.
there, like the old. Yeah, but it's just it's the one. It's like Superman has one team really that everyone knows, and this is it. But it's a branding problem
Yep.
from Warner Brothers that they haven't made the Hans Zimmer one the new one, the modern day one,
Look, they
should I say?
they have this new DC logo, right? That new DC logo was supposed to be the reinvention and the all the new characters and all that shit. But we won't go into that because that's a fucking annoying argument. But yeah, it's just I'm not gonna watch it. I don't want to support anything to do with them being stuck in the past. Send it.
What does that say about this? What a terrible thing that these people are doing. Like, it's just horrible. I don't know what to say to it. That's it.
The movie
It's
could be
just a
good,
terrible thing.
but
A company. I'll tell you what. I was thinking that this. I had an idea of what it could be good, and that was that I would have liked this. I could have seen there's a film called Pets and Pets 2. That because I have nephews and nieces, so I watch stuff with them all the time, and I actually really like that. They seem like good movies, and seeing a movie like that with superhero pets kind of stuff, I think that would have worked well. But I just don't believe that this movie would be any good in any way. Just
Okay,
saying.
the Rock was it starred in Moana,
mhm,
produced Moana, big hit, good film. Kevin Hart was in, I think, probably wrong, The Secret Life of Pets. That
yeah,
was a big hit, you know. So I don't think this movie's
yeah,
going to be bad or anything. I think it's going to be a good, fun, friendly, family movie to watch. And Kevin Hart and The Rock they wouldn't attach themselves to something that wouldn't be entertaining. So I don't think this
yeah.
movie's going to be bad. And The Rock has a lot of star power, and he's obviously got in John Krasinski, Keanu Reeves, stuff like that. So I think this film will be good.
Is Keanu Reeves playing Bat Dog?
Someone is probably
Oh,
playing
it'll be cool.
Superman in that
It'll be cool.
cast.
Yeah, I am
I
Kevin
don't
Hart.
think so. Kevin Hart is definitely
I
a
pitched.
dog,
I
especially I think his crypto's friend.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart's
Kevin
gonna play
Hart.
a Chihuahua.
Kevin Hart should do a Batman dog. 'Cause, him doing a Batman
I
voice would
think
be just funny. I
Batman's
think.
dog should be Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I
Keanu
thought.
Reeves
Yeah.
is gonna be brilliant.
Well, too bad I'm not gonna watch it. Speaking of Batman, listen, this topic is going to cause a lot of controversy, I think, but I haven't read any of the reports that say that the Batman is terrible, but there have been reports of that, and those reports all come from stupid, unsourced YouTubers like Doomcock and all that. I don't know who those people are, but I haven't read the articles. But Grace said that WB is concerned about there being too much violence and aggressiveness in this movie, and it's again WB being WB, but they're caring about toys, and they're saying that Grace is saying that they think that the mental health issues in this movie is concerning because they cannot use that for selling toys. So, do you think this report could be true? And if true, do you think that's a valid concern for WB?
like people went and they absolutely tore Grace apart because she reported this. And like Grace is not the most reliable of sources, but I believe her more than I would say a Doomcock
Yeah,
or any of these other bloggers. Like because she gets private screenings. She interviews all the stars from Netflix. Um, Zack Snyder, she is known. She's popular. She has nearly 1 million subs for good reasons, not for like clickbait stuff. She reviews movies. She does trailer reactions. She does breakdowns. She puts a lot of work into her channel, like a lot of YouTubers. But I think she's very much reliable, and I like watching her videos. I don't think she'll make this up. You know, and she was right in a way about Birds of Prey
yep.
as well. About them reshooting
I think the
that,
Birds of Prey
changing stuff,
director
even though
just
Taddy Yang
embarrassed
came out and said,
herself. She literally admitted what Grace was
"Yeah,"
saying.
because we all know it's because you watch Birds of Prey, there's stuff definitely cut out of that. The whole Birds of Harley Quinn black mask dancing scene. There's definitely that was longer, stuff like that, and even the ending, and it's just you can see that film was changed in a way, even though yeah, we don't some of you don't like it, but like to think that Warner Brothers are 100% happy with the Batman and they don't think that it needs any changing whatsoever, or that it might be commercially bad for their toys. Just go back and look at Batman Returns with Tim Burton, which led to him walking and not coming back for the third movie, which led to Michael Keaton walking and not coming back for the third movie because Warner Brothers were concerned about
Toys.
the appeal to children. They brought in the toys and they brought in Joel Schumacher to change the tone. Even Joel Schumacher wanted to make a dark Batman movie, and he kind of did with Batman Forever, but it was still very much messed with the studio. There's even a director's cut of that and stuff. Batman and Robin was just made just for toys. So I wouldn't be surprised if Warner Brothers have cold feet about the Batman and how dark it is. Look what they did to the Snyder Verse and the world that he was building there and his movies. So like I don't think Matt Reeves will take any shit. He walked before from Warner Brothers because they wanted to change stuff on him. He will not let them fuck with this movie. And if it means that he doesn't come back for a second, he won't come back. He'll make sure that this movie is put out the way he wants, but he might not return for a second. He might be a new director for the Batman because he faced so much shit on this movie. But I think the movie's good. I think it's going to be great. But I'm not surprised that Warner Brothers are concerned about how dark it is.
Send it.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and I genuinely do not believe that Matt Reeves would let them mess with the film. I don't see that. I didn't know about Matt Reeves walking away before, but if he's done it once before, he'll happily do it again. I mean, if you commit a crime once, you're going to do it again. So screw Warner Brothers. Uh, Also, that's crazy to find out that I didn't know that as well. Like, finding out that, you know, um, in the past, this has happened before where they lost confidence. They wanted to sell toys. They've learned nothing, literally, in like 50 years, whatever it's been. And here we are again, just repeating history because this company doesn't learn. They don't have faith in their own products, and it's less. It's actually less of a faith in their products. It's more of they they're lost and they don't have confidence in what they're doing rather than the product. Like if they don't have a goal. If as a company you make a product, right? You say, okay, well it's not working for us, but they don't even know what kind of
Yeah.
product they want to make. That's what's wrong with the company. It's a mess, and I really do hope that things change over there with this new merger because as it is, I just. But this is the thing, right? This is what's frustrating. Is as a company, they're doing well in some regards, in financially as well. But how how much more could they be making if they said, "Hey, we want to do all these great things and continue and have confidence in them," but they're not, and they could easily be like making 3 times what they make right now if they chose to, believe in the things that they want to
I
do.
agree. I think that.
Well,
Sorry.
because why are they concerned about this movie's tone when they have a animated dog coming and they have animated HBO Max Cartoon Network series, a new Batman show? Why are they concerned if this
The
is going to be
Aquaman
dark
show.
when they have when they have 3 or 4 different light Batman products coming out in the next few years? Why are they concerned about one of them being dark?
Listen,
Doesn't make any sense.
I think
Yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a Hollywood executive or working at Warner Brothers, but I do understand their point of view of having to appeal to the masses because they want to do business and they want to sell toys with that, and they want to maximize the revenue for from one franchise, right? I completely understand that, but the part where
But that's the issue. Sorry to interrupt, but that's the issue. The masses don't care.
exactly that the point.
The fans care, and this is what happens, right? Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is what happens. This is everything that's happening with the CW as well. They made their things. CW, and they chose to focus on comics and comic book shows, which were great. But they took what they had and they made it generic, and they lost viewers. That's what's happening again. The more generic you make it, the more you lose your people. You focus it. The people that are there for the reason that they came for, they'll stick around. But you make it generic for everybody, then you lose those fans that came there for that one thing. Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah,
but I had to say
absolutely.
that.
Like, I think their concern is valid, but they're not going about it the right way. Their concern should be to make the thing that they're making in the best way possible so that it can generate those toys and stickers or pencils or whatever the fuck you want to make about it. Because anyone can just go in and buy a Batman Funko, no matter how many times he kills in the movie. There will definitely be a Robert Pattinson Batman Funko Pop, and people will buy that if the movie is good. So the focus should be on making the movie good in the first place. That's always should be the priority. That's always where they were lacking, the new management. They should first of all make the movie good, and that will in turn get you, the audience interest in more movies or toys or t-shirts, merch, whatever. So I think that their primary concern should be making the stuff good and letting well, not letting your filmmakers do whatever they want, but maybe working towards making the best product possible, because that is still possible
Yeah,
by collaborating, but they don't know that.
yeah. But see, they can always continue to make this great products without great like physical, toys to sell. Because listen, kids, when you buy a Batman toy, right? You're not gonna go. Kids aren't gonna learn about like the
Yeah,
everything that happened in the movie, right? You probably won't be showing a movie like this to children because it's
yeah,
a serious movie, right? So when you buy them a toy, what you're gonna be like, they're not gonna know everything that happened in the
and
movie if
it's
someone got
R-rated.
beaten up
Which
brutally.
kid is
No,
going to watch it?
it's R-rated. There you go. So what does it matter? What does it literally matter? It doesn't. The only thing you're doing, this is again, it's nuts. If this is true, and I probably think it is because it's Warner Brothers, right? It just shows to me that they are more lost than ever before. Because how can you not know that when kids go buy a toy, they don't really know about the history of everything that happened in the movie. You'll go buy it, and it's Batman. You're gonna go buy a Batman toy. You're gonna go buy a Superman toy or a Wonder Woman toy. It's the trio. You don't need the reason to buy it from because it's in the movies. You'll buy it because
Yeah,
it's freaking Batman. That's that simple. You make a cool toy, people will come to it. That's simple.
I think when the Nolan Batman movies came out, the comic book genre wasn't like as huge in terms of like
Yeah.
toys,
yeah,
merchandise, T-shirts, everything like that. Because Nolan movies came out, they were pretty dark and they were successful. They weren't worried about how dark they were because they
yeah,
were successful. It's changed now because when the Dark Knight Rises came out, the Avengers was just coming out, and that's when that big Marvel Cinematic Universe started to become a thing, and that's where everything went through the roof. Merchandise, toys, you got streaming service now as well. I think they're concerned at that, and they also don't just look at the movie as something to make money from, but also everything else. Because back when Nolan made those movies, it wasn't as big. Of course, you had X Men and Spider Man and stuff like that, but comic book
yeah.
movies were looked down upon in a way, and now they're more of comic book show a movie, have to go see that because that's what everyone's going to be
Huge
talking about.
credit
So
goes to Disney
that's
as
probably a
well.
lot to do with it as well. Yeah,
Yeah, and because like
Yeah,
the toys thing
they're
also comes from there because they not just MCU, they have Disney has a lot of cute little characters in movies that are definitely just specifically made for merchandising and toys. You know, like your Groot or your Baby Yoda and stuff like that, right? You specifically have that to sell toys. So Warner
yeah,
Brothers wants the same thing.
yeah. And yeah, it works, and like I wouldn't be surprised if there's some little cool side character in Shazam or in Aquaman 2 if they wanted to try and do those things, because yeah, as you said, that's a good example. That's what they want,
The
and
Suicide Squad has Starro.
yeah, it's a
Yep.
business. It's a business.
Well, we'll see what happens with this movie. I'm not that much hyped. I want to see where this goes, and I want to see another trailer. The first trailer was good, but I didn't get that much hyped for it, especially because I don't think I'm ever going to get as hyped for another DC movie from Warner Brothers from currently, because I know that the trailers could be the best thing ever, but the movie could be totally shit. So I'll just wait for the movie to come.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
Um,
do. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. You're speaking. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I was gonna say is that yeah, I don't see anything else that Warner Brother has that has me excited. I really liked Aquaman. I really did. I think it was a big bad turn away from what Snyder had, but I really liked what I saw in the first movie. Wonder Woman 2 was a mess. The first one was great. Flash had me excited, but they messed with the entire movie. I just don't see anything that they have coming down the line for a long time, probably, that could be anything anything remotely interesting as this. Or, yeah, I just don't see that. The only thing that could take my attention again is if they announce a sequel, but then again, I haven't seen the movie or just Snyder Cut or something. Yeah.
Yeah, of course I love Matt Reeves. Everyone knows that. I love the Planet of the Apes movies, and I think Robert Pattinson. People judge him on Twilight and Harry Potter, but they look past his indie movies. Talked about them countless
The
times. Lost City of
Lighthouse.
Z,
Everyone should watch it.
Ro- Rover, Lighthouse, Good
Mhm.
Time, all those kind of things. So he's a terrific actor. I think he
Oh,
does a good
incredible
job. Of
actor.
course, I would prefer a Ben Affleck Batman movie. Of course, that's my favorite Batman. He's the best Batman of all time, but doesn't look likely right now. So I'll take Robin Pattinson as the Dark Knight. I'm sure it'll be a great movie. So looking forward to that. Hopefully, it's not messed with too much, and hopefully, it's Matt Reeves' full vision. So right now, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I hope so. And DC fandom is coming up this year, so there will be a lot of
Yeah,
reveals, announcements, teasers, and all that stuff in there. So let's see.
yeah,
Crazy thing that's already been what has been like 9 months since they did the first fandom.
Yeah, I think
Crazy.
yeah.
more than 9
10,
months. It was in last August.
Crazy.
yeah, 10 months to go.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see how the Batman, you know, I don't know what to say, man. I'm just
Turns out.
this is literally not
Yeah.
me.
I
I would be the most hyped for a Batman movie, and now I'm like just neutral. So it's the worst. But one movie that I'm really excited for is Jurassic World Dominion. And today, Colin Trevorrow has shared a first look at that movie. And here, he captioned it Feathers. I think that's the name of this, creature here, but I don't know. It could be something else. But yeah, this is the first look here we got, and the trailer or teaser I think is going to be attached with Fast 9 when it releases. And I think it already released, right? Or is it going to be released?
when it has to hit the
Right,
US
right,
yet.
right.
That
So yeah,
was
when that movie releases, the trailer is going to be attached to it. So yeah, this is one franchise I'm really excited for now because I loved both the movies, the first and the second. I think I liked the second one more. Um, and that was done by Colin Trevorrow, I think. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one. The ending for the last movie was amazing, and basically the whole dinosaur thing, they all break out in the world, and now they are dominating. So that's why it's called Dominion.
yeah. This movie's a year away. It's delayed, of course, because of COVID and all that stuff. But yeah, I could this franchise. It's not my favorite franchise. It's not something that I'm counting down the days to or anything. I watch the movies when they come out, and yeah, I'm interested to see what it's like with dinosaurs. Are the dinosaurs taking back over Earth? That would be pretty cool.
Did
So
you
yeah,
did you watch
I'm
the
not.
Battle at Big Rock movie short film?
It probably did. I can't remember. I can't. I think I remember watching something when he released it
Yeah,
a while ago. But like this universe isn't my favorite. I'm not counting down the days for this. I'll watch it when it comes out. But not too excited right now.
cool. Extended.
Uh, I haven't seen the original Jurassic World or Jurassic Park movies, whatever they call it, I don't know. I've seen the first one with Chris
Yes.
Pratt, but that's about it. Um, so I'm interested in these movies. I think they look cool. I think they're great. Probably, I
The
should watch
second one is
them,
really good.
but I haven't made time for it. Yeah, people keep saying that that's a pretty good one because I think that came out around the time of Mission Impossible Fallout as well, I believe, and that those were the two big things that were happening around that time, I believe. And yeah, I definitely need to catch up and watch it because
Yeah. And by
I
franchise,
mean
I don't mean the
it's
entire
dinosaurs,
franchise
so
because
all that matters.
I haven't watched all of the Jurassic Park movies. I've only watched the first one. And then I'm just talking about the Jurassic World franchise, like the new ones.
But
Hmm.
the original cast is
Yes.
all coming back. Sam Neill is coming back. Um, maybe Jeff Goldblum.
No,
Maybe
he's
or did
coming
he
back.
die?
I
I can't
think
remember.
he had a
I think maybe
photo with them.
yeah he's coming back. Yeah, so the original cast is all coming back. So that's going to be awesome to see them again. So, yeah, it should be a good. It should be a big hit. I'll expect this movie to make a lot of money because it's a huge IP, but also the original
And
cast.
also it's Colin Trevorrow after not doing the last Star Wars movie.
Yeah, it's kind of his
Yeah.
payback to show Lucasfilm what they were missing.
Hmm. So yeah, with that we can wrap up today's show. That's all the topics there. Um, it was awesome talking Loki today because I really enjoyed that and all the other topics as well. We'll be talking Loki every single week, so make sure to tune in every Wednesday and Saturday. The timings are on our Twitter page. I don't remember them. But yeah, you can find me at Krypton Cage on all social media, and also make sure to follow the Real Talk Live at the Real Talk Live on Instagram and Twitter. Maher, where can I find you?
Yeah, movies that matter on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Bebo on MySpace, LinkedIn, all those kind of things. That's where you can find me. And yeah, so the live streams are every Wednesday and Saturday where we do all the latest movie news, discussions, gossip, entertainment, all that kind of stuff with guests. So we'll have a new guest on Saturday as well. So hope you can join us. And thank you to Ascend the Nation for being our guest.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I love being here. It's a good time to be able to talk with friends.
Awesome. Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on at Ascended Ancient on Twitter, and if you can't find me there, you won't find me anywhere else. So,
All right. Yeah, glad you
yeah,
joined us, man. Although it was late.
and you guys should yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, you should definitely invite someone that won't be late. and that does watch the shows they're talking about. So,
Yeah.
but thanks for having me on. I do enjoy our chats. So.
Always, anytime, you're welcome here. Um,
Good. I'll see you
sure.
next week.
But yeah, we'll be talking Loki every single week here, so make sure you tune in next Wednesday to discuss Loki episode 2. Until then, see ya.